Um,
Oh snap, here we go. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, welcome to the stream. Tis I, Joshua Thomas, Nicolas Cage, and the Joker. All here wrapped into one crazy person. I've been talking aloud for the last 6 hours on stereo with Austin Boyce. So I'm going to let you all know we're here to talk about Harley Quinn, the animated series. But instead of the whole season, we're just going to cover half today so we can get a little more in depth to the first 6 episodes. And then we're going to cover the back 7 on the next stream, which we will talk about with my wonderful co hosts, who I will bring on right now. Hello to So You Want to Be an Imagineer, Blue Dragon 5, and Tiki. How are you doing, gentlemen?
well, I mean, I am both Tiki and So You Want to Be an Imagineer, but
Got it. I think I meant from the channel So You Want to Be an Imagineer.
right. It's all good. It's all
Don't
good.
nitpick our generous host. What's wrong with you? We're on Just Giggle It, man. Come on.
All right.
Gotta do the corrections.
That's what I'm saying. Just so people don't get confused. That's all I'm saying.
It's a
Like,
pleasure
wait a
to
minute,
be
I
here.
thought I
Yes,
heard 4 names. Where's this fourth mysterious person?
Collectively, we are on So You Want to Be an Imagineer. His brainchild, he is Tiki. I am Blue Dragon 5. We're all good now.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. If you are not familiar with these guys, like they are saying, they're in the channel So You Want to Be an Imagineer, which I'm going to put in the chat right now. Because if you're not already following them, you need to be. They do podcasts. Do you guys want to kind of just go into a brief summary, like of how often you guys are podcasting and maybe what your main shows are these days?
Every night, Josh. Every night.
There we go. That's what I like to hear.
That's our goal.
That's
Content
what I like to
every
hear.
day, baby. Let's see. In terms of what we're covering, we cover like a broad spectrum of pop culture. We cover, we do a movie memoir show every month where we cover all the movies that we've seen in that particular month, as well as movie news and the TV that we've been watching. So that's a good kind of catch-all every month for what we've been up to. But in addition to that, every month we have like kind of a theme month, and then of course we'll cover like the big TV shows that come out. Like, for example, we're covering DuckTales right now, and we'll certainly be covering The Mandalorian season 2 when that comes out. So we kind of jump between theme months and just kind of big kind of zeitgeist stuff happening in nerd and Disney culture. That's kind of our gist. Just kind of jump around to all kinds of nerd culture.
I will say, I know you guys also do the Just Giggle It grab bag, so if you're a fan of Just Giggle It, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 Eastern, they cover a new sketch on Just Giggle It. I'm going to pause this because we got somebody in the chat who really wants you to say hi, Clifton, Tiki. Jeffy John. Say hello to Jeffy John.
So he wants me to say hi, Clifton?
Apparently, he says, I love Tiki. Say hi, Clifton, please.
Oh. Hi, Clifton. Hello,
there we go.
Clifton.
And now that that's out of the way, can you say anything else, Jeffy John, my friend? So, like thanking all of you, or like I want to thank all of you, we're going to be talking about Harley Quinn, the animated series, Season 1, first half today. And again, I just want to apologize. My plan today, I had a very packed schedule. I was going to, do a stereo talk, finish off the series, and then come on with the last batch fresh in my mind and get to talking about the whole season. What happened is Austin Boyce, my old podcast co-host, and I were on stereo, and all of a sudden we had like more listeners than we've ever had before. We were like, we had like 40 plus listeners, over 20 messages. So it was just like stacked and we couldn't get off. So I was supposed to be done 2 hours ago, and I literally ended right before starting the stream. So
wow.
I apologize about not getting to the full season, but we can really dissect these first 6 here today. So I'm so excited. Blue Dragon specifically, you are a huge Batman fan. You've read the comics, you've seen every episode of Batman the Animated Series, and you are completely caught up with Harley Quinn. So you are our shaman today. Is that right?
Yeah, well, I kind of go. We do this show called the Animated Batcave, where I basically our whole shtick, which I guess is kind of following us here today a little bit, is I've seen all the episodes. I'm kind of the expert on the DCAU and Batman the Animated Series, and Tiki's watching them for the first time, so we get his reaction. I kind of like fill in the blanks and kind of I kind of know the lay of the land. So yeah, it's a little similar here, I guess. So yeah, I know my stuff when it comes to Batman, just kind of especially the animated stuff with Batman. So yeah.
Hell yes. Like if I were to ask you who was the voice actor on Batman the Animated Series of Harley Quinn, who would that be?
Arlene Sorkin.
Arlene Sorkin. Was it her the entire time?
Yeah, for the animated series and the new adventures, the revamp, it's all Arlene Sorkin. Tara Strong comes in after the first Arkham game, and basically some of the other animated. The point is, all the animated series you remember, that's all Arlene Sorkin.
I'm also curious: is it Arlene Sorkin in DC Girls, the one that's more geared towards younger girls?
No. So Arlene Sorkin, she kind of retired after the first Arkham game in 2009. So basically, that's like the last performance she really had on the character. Then it kind of jumped around to a few, but Tara Strong's predominantly like the new Harley.
Okay.
Very Nicole Dubois-esque, by the way.
Yeah, until Kaylee Cuoco comes in. So.
Yes.
So yes, guys, we're talking Harley Quinn, the animated series, season 1. So to jump right in the first half, we're going to cover the first 6 episodes. So my first impressions of the so I guess, let's start off by just giving your first impressions of this show, what you expected from it, and then as that first episode was playing, what were the vibes you guys were getting? What were you thinking? And what was going through your head? I know that I've done a full reaction video on the pilot, so you guys kind of know a little more of my thoughts, but I'd love to hear yours, both of you. Dragon, why don't you go ahead and start, sir?
Sure. So, of course, Harley Quinn had started on DC Universe. Now, it's coming fully to HBO Max and got renewed, which is good.
Yes, season 3 coming soon, guys.
It wasn't a certainty, but now it is, so yay for that.
And season 3 on HBO Max, not DCU, which is getting closed down for all their scripted series and predominantly going to be comics digitally now. Is that right?
Yeah, it looks that way. I mean, it's a shame to see the library of all the TV shows and everything go. Like they had like a whole bunch of other shows and everything. Like of course the animated series, basically all the DCA, the whole lot was on there. So that's gonna be a shame to see that go. But yeah, it's gonna be full comics now. It looks like. They gave me a kind of a sweet free Harley Quinn statue that was really nice. Like I built up all these viewing points. Nice.
You just were like, you reminded me. I was like, oh, there's a better spot for that. There we go.
Yep.
So I'm sorry, Dragon. Continue, sir.
Bro, to my point. To bank. Okay, my point is, half the reason I got DC Universe was, along with Young Justice, was for the Harley Quinn animated show, because how can you not? And it was so irksome because that was like, at launch, it's like, hey, we're starting Young Justice and we have a couple shows, but the one you really wanted, you're going to have to wait on it. I had to wait for the release. I forget it was like November of that year, or if it was like that they pushed it back even further. I can't recall. The point is a long wait because I really wanted to see this. This show... The pilot wasn't. I got sold in episode 2. Episode 2 is the one that sold me, but episode 1's kind of like testing the waters and kind of setting the tone for the show. Because on the whole, I'd say Harley Quinn ultimately, and kind of the balance it strikes is that this show ultimately it's the perfected version of what the New 52 was going for with the revamp of Harley Quinn. Like they wanted to take it away from the Harley and Joker. Like what is Harley Quinn like when she's like struck out out of the Joker? She's spun off from him. She's like broken up with him. Like how does that go? And we've gotten a taste of that in the Birds of Prey movie, but of course we complicated that. We're like, hey, it's Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey in their own movie, but not their own movie. That whole thing. Yeah. So they've always had a problem, just kind of like getting that right, because they keep making Harley Quinn a little too much like Deadpool in the comics. Now with the New 52, this is exactly what it should have been. This show really is what all of that, including the Birds of Prey movie, should have been with Harley Quinn on her own.
Really, it's so funny that you mentioned that, and I'm not trying to interrupt your thoughts. I want you to continue, but that was specifically one thing I really latched onto is how much I wish this like storyline was the movie they made.
Exactly.
So yeah, keep going. Yeah.
And exactly, Tiki and I, when we talked about Birds of Prey, like I was the main thought because he had seen the first two episodes up to that point, so he kind of got a kind of a baseline. Like, yeah, why can't that movie just be the Harley Quinn movie? And basically, there's this running gag in the DC animated stuff, Josh, where a lot of times the original animated movies that put out like Assault on Arkham, for example, Assault on Arkham, which is kind of like what the Suicide Squad movie should have been.
Okay.
And there's always like these baselines like, oh, did it better anime, World's Finest, the Batman Superman crossover. It's kind of like a 3-part episode movie sort of thing, was what Batman v Superman should have been. It's kind of this runner they kind of do. And yet again, with the Harley Quinn animated show.
Yeah. Well, that's sad because, I mean, hopefully it seems like with the new crop of movies that they're planning right now that DC is definitely on the uptick. So I think they have the most potential. I don't know if that's because people are like, great, we saw the Marvel storyline, we close it on Avengers, and I'm ready for some DC if I'm just an average fan. So, but to hardcores, obviously, keep going on everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep it simple. Just the thing that they got right. I'm going to pass it over to Tiki here because I don't want to do all the talking. Because I could just talk Harley Quinn all live long day, which I don't want to do. But
well, that's what we're here for. We're going to keep talking it. So get ready.
Well, basically, what separates this from what went wrong with Harley, like in the kind of what they tried to do in the comic, is that one, we kept her in Gotham, but we spliced in the sandbox of the greater DC universe, which is a really smart move. Like, they took her they took her to Coney Island in the comics, which is like, don't take her out of Gotham. What are you thinking? Like, don't.
Yeah.
Like, why are we doing that? Again, we didn't make her a Deadpool knockoff, but we instead made her kind of the crazy, ultra violent kind of side of things, which the show did here. And lastly, I think what kind of helps tie the whole thing together nicely is that she's not aimlessly getting in the shenanigans. You know, it's not like the comics kind of ran out of steam. Like, what's Harley doing this week? She joins a roller ring. What's Harley doing next week? She, this and that. I mean, this show, we gave her arcs. We gave her a simple goal for the season, the whole Legion of Doom thing. You know, it's like it avoids burnout that way, which again, comics kind of learn the hard way. It's basically on the whole, like the first episode and 2 especially kind of sets the tone of like, this is like the ultimate irreverent take on the DC universe with Harley Quinn as our kind of our touchstone. Like, okay, we're exploring this universe through Harley Quinn, which is a really good movie.
Yeah, I was seeing, and Tiki, I want to get your thoughts just next. As the show was progressing, even though I haven't finished the first season, I just saw maybe it was 2 or 3 episodes that started with the gang coming back from a heist or something. And I was just like, oh, what a cool, like, sitcom-y vibe that this is picking up while it's telling the ongoing story. So, Tiki, what about your first impressions of the show leading into it? Like, hearing about it? Were you hyped from Dragon? Like, you got to watch this show. What's going on? What was your take of tale of getting into Harley Quinn, the animated series?
Yeah, sure. I definitely remember the Comic-Con trailer striking me pretty well when that premiered last year, I believe. And it just had just kind of this irreverent tone to it and this kind of like frantic energy to it. I didn't quite know what to expect. One of the big things that Dragon and I kind of like one of our white whales that we wish would have gotten made is the Donald Glover Deadpool animated series that kind of fell through the cracks. So at the very least, I was hoping for this to kind of pick up some of the slack from that. And I didn't really have many expectations going into this. I wasn't exactly following it like, through development and everything. I wasn't following the clips and the trailers as they were coming out, but Dragon definitely told me that the pilot episode was good, so I gave it a shot. And I got to say, the pilot episode really delivers. I think it really delivers in terms of like it promises on 2 things that are going to come true through the rest of the series. One, it's going to promise a really engaging look into the abusive relationship that is Joker and Harley and really dissect that in a meaningful way. Mm-hmm. And 2, and more importantly, it's just going to have straight up fun with the DC villain canon. And we're just going to get really goofy and really outlandish takes with some characters legitimately being explored in a really thoughtful way, like Ivy. So, rest assured, I watched the pilot. It took me a while to get through the rest of the series just because I had a lot of other stuff on the back burner. But just watching through the whole thing, I like Josh said, it definitely kind of hits a groove by like episode 3 or 4, I would say. And then once it hits that groove, it just kind of keeps going, and I'm fully expecting season 2 to just build upon season 1. I mean, season 1 is great, but there's a lot more you can be doing with this, and I don't know. I just think potentially, as good as season 1 is, it might be the tip of the iceberg for the storytelling potential we have here.
Yeah. No, I agree that it is definitely getting better as it's going. And, you know, any good show should do that because you're more into the characters. The stories are a little juicier. So you're latching onto more things. They're laying more Easter eggs, et cetera, for the story. So let's just, I mean, before we just dive right in now to our overall thoughts on now, just focus in on this episode 1. You kind of were touching on it a little bit. Just to remind everyone of my journey and perspective on it, I've had so many people that have, you know, told me about this show from jump because
I'm sure Dragon was one of them.
Dragon was one of them, but he was by no means alone because I was getting DMs like crazy when it was first coming out. Because of my show, if you don't know, which that would be crazy, you're on Just Giggle It right now. Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the real world.
What is this new show? Tell us about it.
Well, you know, it's actually, you know, it's so funny, Dragon. Is, when I'm on stereo, I'm dealing with a completely new audience, so I do have to talk about it from a blind perspective of like, hey, it's about Harley and Joker moving from
Josh,
Gotham
can I
to
just
LA.
say you're killing it on stereo, bro?
Oh, dude, thank you so much. I appreciate every time you jump on there.
You know, I'm really sorry. Like Dragon told me that you and Mark were doing something last night. I just did not have the energy to jump on. I was really tired. I was like, I jumped on and you guys were talking about like I don't know, like some sort of like I don't even remember, just something
Dude,
that
it was probably him and I doing Al Pacino songs back and forth, and you were like,
something
"What
like
the
that.
hell is going on?" Do 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 do.
I feel like that's my only critique of StreamYard is that if you miss the start of the stream, or I'm sorry, not a StreamYard, a stereo.
Yeah.
Is that if you miss the start of the stream, it's maybe a little bit difficult to jump into the conversation per se.
Totally.
But
I can feel what you mean. I want to just follow that up with like when me and Austin today started getting a ton of listeners. A lot of the messages coming in were like, "Hey, just jumping on. What have you guys been talking?" Like, so it's like catch me up on what's been going on vibes. Because like, yeah, we have 40 listeners. Why? And you want to follow up. But I can understand like listening to me and Mark last night and like, oh, I don't need to chime in with these couple peeps. That's good. I'm good.
I really
to see the Eartime gang come back together.
If I had more energy,
Yeah.
I totally would have, Josh, because like the two Mark and Josh stereo sessions I have sat on were absolute gold and absolutely improved my night.
Ah, dude, I appreciate that so much, man. And it's so easy for him and I to talk. I'm sure you guys, again, a plug for your channel. So You Want to Be an Imagineer also has a debate show where they go back and forth on Disney topics. Mark Sipka and I were on there to debate Looney Tunes and Space Jam. And
Well,
it's just like a...
funny that you mentioned that because we've got a really special one coming up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this Friday, assuming no lightning strikes, this Friday we got a very special Mulan centric episode.
Well, there you go. So go check that out. Mulan topical, getting on it. Disney Plus. I have not watched it yet.
You don't need to watch the.
Yeah, we're talking the animated one. We're not gonna.
Ah.
It's an insult what they did there. So we're focusing on the animated. We're looking backwards, kids.
You got it. So let's get down to business and
Importantly,
keep $30.
Importantly, with that debate, it's going to be the very first debate that we've had where it's going to be two female debaters.
Oh, nice. Dude,
Yeah,
congrats. Getting that female perspective on the channel. Dude,
For sure.
it's if you ever listen, Tiki, going back to stereo to me and Austin, it's such a different vibe than Mark and I, because him and I are just super good friends, but just that genuine touch that a female can bring, and specifically people like Austin. So anyway, we're getting a little off topic. Sorry about that, guys. Jump on stereo, download it. Back to Harley Quinn. So the reason, like I was saying, that this all started is me explaining my show. I made a show called Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the Real World, and it's about the Joker and Harley moving from Gotham to Los Angeles, and they're in LA living kind of normal lives, and that's what Harley Quinn the animated series really taps into. They take a lot of reality, meaning these are the supervillains, but all of the supervillains live life every day, 24/7. They have full-fledged lives. So to think of that perspective, That kind of was a huge basis of my show, is what are the villains doing when they're not threatening Batman? What are they doing when they're not coming up with these plans? And that's what this show, and so a lot of shows now are, breaking the mold, so to speak, at what was our archetypes, and they're, really fleshing them out. And that's what the show
Look
does
at
really well.
WandaVision. They're literally hanging out in 50 sitcoms.
Yeah, exactly. That was really cool, man. So, let me see here. So, in going to first impressions, now let's just dissect episode 1. You guys kind of talked about it a little bit, but I'll just go ahead and give my quick impressions. I have a full reaction. It's on this channel, so I'm not going to be too long about this, but what I will say, it does set up the series so well, because it starts with Harley as you know her. Look at this picture we have in front of us, in that costume that's so iconic. The only difference immediately is like, oh, her eyes are blue. That's all I noticed, but it was my Harley. And you see a transition in one episode that so well sets out the trajectory of where the show's going to go, and especially after seeing more episodes. Excellent pilot. I think it was very well done, and I don't really have a bad thing to say about it aside from is that the episode where they blew up a guy named Howie?
No, it's episode.
Okay. Then I have nothing bad to say about this episode.
I think DC might owe Mr. Thomas here a check, but we're not going to get into the legalese of that.
That's it.
Here.
Yes.
So the thing that really struck out to me about this episode was just how strong they established the main dynamic of the show, which really is at the heart of things, Ivy, Harley, and Joker. Ivy and Joker are basically playing a tug of war for Ivy's soul throughout the whole series. And I feel like in this episode, we really get to emphasize that. We really get to feel that. And it's really going to come into play throughout the entire season.
Yeah.
So something I want to bring up, Alan Tudyk as the Joker.
Oh, Alan Tudyk kills it. He absolutely
Alan Tudyk, here's the thing, it's so funny, because Alan Tudyk apparently is announced, because they announced, basically the main thing they teased for the show way back during the advertising stage was like, look at all these names, man, look at this cast. And it's like, oh my god, I can't wait to see this cast in action. I have no idea who they're going to play. Kind of like the way they're doing that Suicide Squad before we got the footage. It was like, all the names. Who are they going to play? Who knows? But I tell you, Alan Tudyk as the Joker is great, because I saw him in Doom Patrol, another show was on DC, was now on HBO Max and renewed yet again. HBO Max.
I need to check that one out. I've heard.
He played a character called Mr. Nobody who pretty much dresses like the Joker, but he has like a presence. So basically, Alan Tudyk for me, I mean, short of present company, is the person I want to see play a live action Joker. Absolutely, like, given not counting Joshua Thomas, which is a no brainer. But again, we got to go back to just doing like a classic Joker. That's how we get Joshua Thomas.
Sure.
But point being, Alan Tudyk would be like for like a John Hamm Batman, we have Alan Tudyk go up against him, that sort of thing. That's what I would.
Here's what I want to add about Alan Tudyk. I haven't watched it yet, and I don't know why I've never watched this movie, but I was scrolling through Netflix, and I came across A Knight's Tale, and it was on the poster Heath Ledger and Alan Tudyk right next to each other, and I was just like, oh, that's beautiful. I mean, I just love seeing that. I was like, that's a really, it just gave me kind of some chills.
You paused Netflix and they scrolled the posters by, didn't they?
Yeah.
Happens to me all the time. I keep seeing that same poster. It keeps going by.
Yeah. I do want to also ask you, because you would know this, Blue Dragon. I think this is you guys' buddy. Claude Karinga is in the comments.
Yeah, Claude.
Hey, Claudie. Hey, yeah.
And I'll join in on that. Claudie! I don't know you, but hello, sir.
Claude, I totally forgot to put the link on Twitter. I'm glad you found us.
Tiki, you bitch!
Son of a...
So Claude says, which series had a better start, Harley Quinn or Batman the Animated Series? And I think Dragon, and I haven't seen the pilot in a long time. Tiki, you probably have, because you're in the midst of it. So you guys want to tackle that?
I would honestly say Harley Quinn, but it's tough. I think Harley Quinn just establishes all the relationships and all the dynamics so well. But then again, it's an entirely different show, and Batman establishes an atmosphere, and it kind of establishes a thesis statement for the show very well. So I don't know. I feel like Dragon's going to have the more definitive statement. I would say Harley Quinn, though, personally.
Okay. Dragon.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't think it's necessarily a fair question because you got to remember Harley Quinn's going for the serialized route, where Batman was just kind of like, okay, we're just giving you an example of again, they're both similar, they're both tone setters. They're both absolutely setting a tone for the series. Batman very aesthetically, very kind of like, okay, this is our Batman, kind of like the duality of Bruce Wayne, kind of like doing the day-to-day stuff as Batman kind of solves it at night. We kind of set a premise of how the show is going to go, and it feels like it kind of blasts on the scene. But I mean, in terms of narrative, I mean, Harley Quinn has the advantage. In terms of a better start, I guess technically Harley Quinn. But again, I'm not 100% sold till the second episode, so I don't know. But the Batman the animated series buff me is kind of leaning towards Batman.
What is the pilot of Batman the animated series?
It's On Leather Wings. It's the one where he goes up against Man-Bat.
Oh yeah, no. So if I'm gonna answer this for you, Mr. Claudy, Harley Quinn, hands down. Just because it's memorable. I'm sure I've seen that Batman pilot, but it's completely forgettable. But also, as Dragon was saying, you're talking about episodic versus serialized, and a serialized show will suck you in way harder usually, unless you're just like so into a character. On an episodic, like, I love Sheldon. Big Bang is my favorite show.
All right, well, let's not compare Batman the animated series to the Big Bang Theory.
He's always coming down on the Big Bang Theory. I'm kind of sick of it.
I'm always coming down on the Big Bang Theory.
Are you not a Big Bang fan? Whoa,
No, I am not.
Yeah, he isn't. I don't know what anyway.
I am very anti-Big Bang.
I'll admit, if you look back on the Big Bang Theory, it's a little rough in places towards the start. But again, it hits a groove.
Anti-Big Bang. I mean,
Yeah,
you gotta at least say. I mean, I'll say this, that Johnny Galecki is as mediocre as you can get. Like, I've never seen someone so vanilla. Like, I'm like, I don't care and I don't hate you. I'm just like, you exist, fine. But Jim Parsons is a powerhouse. That character, I mean, I'm almost excited right now that it's over to see what's going to happen. I know he has a movie on Netflix coming out.
I like Jim Parsons a lot better in other things, though. That's the thing.
Granted, I haven't finished Big Bang, but I've probably seen at least 6 or 7 seasons, and I'll just say it's solid. You know, those scenes with Penny where he gets heartfelt, it's like, oh man, you can't, like, I can see that not landing with any other actor, and he makes it work, and that's what's brilliant.
I have my reasons for disliking Big Bang that I don't want to get into.
His issues aside, just to also shout this out, Young Sheldon had no right to work, but it does remarkably well. At least the first 2 seasons, first season especially. Young Sheldon.
Oh wow, I've not seen that at all. And if anyone is saying like, what the hell are you guys talking about Big Bang for? It's on HBO Max, so it kind of has something to do with what we're talking about.
I think the bigger takeaway, Kaylee Cuoco, who was in the Big Bang Theory.
Oh yeah. So. You know what, Dragon? That's a good one.
And speaking of which, perhaps we should talk about her.
It's a good point. Yes, let's talk about Kaylee Cuoco.
One reason why I would watch Young Sheldon, and that's Wallace Shawn.
I know he's great in that too.
You know, we could talk about Kaylee Cuoco as Harley Quinn, or we could go talk about 8 Simple Rules and talk some John Ritter for 30 minutes, which I'm down to do as well.
Poor John. Oh, by the way, Josh, I'm going to keep this brief because we're going to get back on topic. But I finished the book.
It'll never happen.
I finished your book recommendation. The John Ritter chapter in it.
Wait, Disney War?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, what a great book.
I've read that book.
What a great book.
That's a fantastic
I finished it like a couple days ago. I went to my Anthony Daniel book next.
So the next book you need to pick up is 3 Kings. Yeah. And it's the continuation of Disney War, essentially, because it's about Jeffrey Katzenberg, Spielberg starting DreamWorks.
Oh my God! I'm going to look into that. Okay.
Yeah. It's not as good as Disney War, but it feels like, oh, here's the continuation of what happens to Jeffrey Katzenberg and like how he goes off.
Katzenberg's always a fascinating subject. We don't have time to get into all the Katzenberg.
Yeah. Whenever the book comes out about Quibi, I think I'll pass on that one. All right, let's talk a little Kaylee Cuoco. She's great in Big Bang. She's an actress, but right here, she's Harley Quinzel. What do you guys think of her performance? Not really doing the accent so much, really losing the accent, I feel, as the show goes on a little bit.
Yeah, I think she does a really fantastic job of making it her own. That's really the foundation for what I like about her.
You know what's funny? The other Big Bang Theory actress, she also has played Harley Quinn once. Melissa Roush. She played Harley Quinn in
Right.
Batman Harley Quinn, which is kind of a heresy of a film, but it's.
Yeah, I remember when the casting came out for this that I was a little like, oh, I wonder how that's going on set. Like, you know. Hey, Byrne, you're still on this show, though, okay?
But yeah, the accent thing. I mean, I like that there was a progression to it. Kind of we added some fun layers and evolution to her with that. 'Cause she loses it progressively through the first episode because we have like classic Harley and kind of the outfit and everything, as well as like she has it there a little bit and progressively comes back. And Josh, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but again, there's a big payoff with the accent. Well, I shouldn't say there is a continuation of the accent in a major way once you get to 10.
They cover it. They write their way. They wrote their way out. Got it.
I'm saying you get to see the origin of the accent.
No, that reference, Josh.
I knew you would, buddy. I knew you would. Thank you. God, the mother of all side notes, and I apologize to our wonderful viewers, listeners, now and in the future, because I'm always making content for not who's watching at the moment, but whoever may be watching one day. But I wanted to say Cobra Kai. We got to do Cobra Kai at some point.
Oh yeah,
we do. I've got him onto it, Josh. I finished it, and now I've gotten him onto it. So if you want to, we're down for it.
You finished both seasons?
Well,
I'm like halfway through season 1. I will finish soon. I'm down.
Oh man, see, here's the opposite of like me watching Harley Quinn. It's a little different because I was watching it and reacting to it, and I was watching it knowing I got to give my thoughts. So there's completely different vibes. Where I'm like trying to finish this show versus Cobra Kai, I couldn't stop watching. I'm like, next, let's go.
And what's a miracle about Cobra Kai, I'll just point out, is that I don't think any of us are Karate Kid fans.
I've still never seen any of the movies,
yeah, me neither.
So, and I don't care. I don't need to.
But Cobra Kai just totally draws you in. You need to know just like the very, very fundamental basics, which it fills you in with.
Cobra Kai is what Boyhood spent 12 years trying to do. Like, the fact that they have flashbacks when they were kids that they actually was filmed as them. Yeah. Like, that's what's so perfect about it. And that's what Boyhood's charm, that's what Boyhood's only charm was. So, Johnny Galecki sucks. Sorry, guys. All right, let's keep okay, so anyway, we're talking Kaylee Cuoco, but I want to ask your thoughts because once I didn't look up who the actors were. I mean, I knew Alan Tudyk and Kaylee Cuoco and Jason Alexander. As soon as he came up, I was like, "Oh, Jason Alexander's in this? Great."
Yep, sip his Yoda.
So, but as soon as Batman was sounding weird to me, and I was like, "That's not Kevin Conroy. He doesn't sound right." And then when I looked it up, it almost ruined the show for me because I can't hear anything but Oswald from the Drew Carey Show now, and Jethro from Beverly Hillbillies because Diedrich Bader is Diedrich Bader. Thank you. He is such a funny, silly guy. I know he's doing that voice, and I don't buy it whatsoever. So.
Diedrich has played Batman before, right?
Yeah. Okay. So he played very famously. He played Batman in the kind of the lighthearted kind of throwback to the old Silver Age kind of 50s 60s period of Batman and Batman Brave and the Bold, like a series for like 3 seasons. Yeah. So and also they like a Scooby-Doo
throwback to the Silver Age, right?
Yeah, throwback to the Silver Age. Like the lighthearted Batman. He plays it very basically. It's a Batman team up show. He teams up with a different obscure hero from DC every episode, and he's playing it straight. It's like the whole like team up capability of Batman. It's kind of nice,
right? And I get why he's used, because this is a comedy. Because this is a little more lighthearted. Like whenever we get to the Robin episode, that whole scene with him that really landed for me. Like when he was in that mode, but when he's doing Batman, I mean, let me speak honestly, guys. Like, how do you feel when you're listening? Does it register? Do you not? Are you just buying it as it's coming? What's going? I might be alone on this. Let me know.
Okay, my take on it is that it feels like a more straight version of Frank Miller's All-Star Batman and Robin.
Okay.
Josh, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that run or not.
I'm not. No.
Just it's a very infamous Batman.
Oh God!
It's like Frank Miller. We used to in his early days. He was the guy who wrote the iconic Batman stories, and then they gave him a little too much leash in his older years, and he went crazy. So he kind of wrote crazy Batman stories. So that's one of the crazy, infamous stories.
Well, I mean, let's just pull this up while we're talking about it from Gabe Nearest. Thank you, Gabe, for being on here. Guys, if you have any questions, I know also Claude asked about Kaylee Cuoco versus Tara Strong. Ask the questions. We'll get to them as we can. But we're talking from Gabe Nearest. Claude Karing is mentioning Will Arnett. So let's talk in general, all the Batman voices. Personally, Kevin Conroy, you can't get better than that. It's perfection to me.
But Conroy's the gold standard.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And I don't understand why he wasn't used. He's still doing the Arkham games, isn't he?
Well, the Arkham games are they're kind of done. So he's not really being used for him going forward.
I just saw a featurette from the fandom on Kevin Conroy. So
yeah, that was nice.
Still in their vicinity, in their vibe. It's a voice. He still has that voice. I was just confused. I was like, why the hell wouldn't you just use him? Like, that
I feel like because they wanted to go with a more lighthearted and kind of like offbeat Batman, and Conroy is a very, very serious interpretation of the character, and the fans take Kevin Conroy's character very seriously.
But that's why I feel that this series would land that much harder because that is the beauty when you can have comedy dealing with stakes and dealing with reality. Like, it just makes everything like, yeah, it might not be as funny at times, but it might be funnier at times. And and then also you're going to buy into it way more because you're like, oh no, this is real. This isn't like some offshoot universe. This is the Batman I know. And now we're just getting a look behind the scenes at these characters, So,
I mean, to be fair, I just don't think that Batman is that big of a part of the show. I don't know, though. I mean, you're right. It certainly would have been nice to have Conroy, but at the same point, I feel like Diedrich Bader does bring his own spin to it and does kind of I feel like for the offbeat Batman that they're going for with this show, it works. But basically, what I'm saying is that if they would have done Conroy, I think they would have maybe had to rewrite their Batman entirely to fit Conroy, if that makes sense.
I mean, I guess so. But now every time Batman opens his mouth, I'm just hearing, "Oh shoot, Uncle Jed! I didn't know that was where I put it."
Well, if you want to see how Conroy playing comedy as Batman might look like, there is this. There's Scooby-Doo. They recently did this series. I don't know if the first season's still free on Amazon or not, but it's I think it's called What's New Scooby-Doo. It's one of the new permutations of Scooby-Doo.
I think that might be on Netflix, actually.
There's a whole bunch of Scooby-Doo shows. I don't know if that one's on Netflix necessarily. Okay. It might be. They might have added it since, but the whole HBO MAX of it, I don't know what's going where now. So
it's Kevin Conroy as Batman with Scooby-Doo.
It was one episode, basically a whole series of different team-ups. Like Wonder Woman had a really great episode, and she's so adorable with Scooby-Doo in that episode. So they had Conroy's Batman, where again, you see there's a movie with Bader as the Brave and the Bold Batman meeting the Scooby Gang, which is amazing, and that's fantastic. But they also did like an episode with Conroy and Scooby-Doo, so that's the series.
I might check it out because I do love me some Conroy.
That's the thing. If you want to see how it might look,
as Gabe is saying, Kevin Conroy is the best Batman voice actor. Yeah, you're damn right.
No question.
I am curious about this from you guys. I know we're kind of dwelling on the voices, but it's kind of a free-flowing conversation. We're going to get to episode 2 in just a second. Claude Karinga, Jimmy Kimmel as Batman from Teen Titans Go to the Movies. I've never seen that. Tell me.
Oh man, I totally forgot that Kimmel was Batman in Teen Titans Go to the Movies. I must admit. Oh boy. Yeah. I am more of a fan of Teen Titans Go to the Movies than Dragon is. I think it's a pretty fun, irreverent take on the characters. I think it's at the very least more enjoyable than the show it's based on. But having said that, they kind of do Batman dirty in that one with the alleyway scene.
I've never seen it. But do you buy his voice? Like, what is Jimmy Kimmel doing? Like, can you do almost an impression of like, is he doing where is he?
He's pretty over the top, right, Dragon?
I mean, yeah, remember I had to test Teen Titans Go as a property. So when we do when they do the movie, I'm very skimpy on the details. If he spoke, it wasn't for long, and even when he spoke, I mean, it was kind of forgettable. It wasn't really.
Yeah, they basically used him for a one-off gag where they.
Because in the show, the idea in the show from the little that I've seen that I'm gonna try to, because they always air it on Cartoon Network. Every time I just put on Mutant the Sun, it's like, oh god, it's always coming on. It always ticks me off. But the point being, Batman Commissioner Gordon's like one of the highlights. They're always like doing shenanigans and stuff. Like Gordon doesn't. They don't. The adults don't speak in the show.
Oh,
so that's why in the movie they spoke for the first time, and they had Nick Cage Superman in that movie.
Right. Let me see here. Tiki, you want to thank your mom? I don't know if I didn't know she was on here.
Thank you. Wow. That's legitimately that means a lot, Jeffy John. Jesus. I would hard disagree, but I appreciate it.
Hey, you know what? I just want to say I want to thank Tiki's mom for being on the stream with us. So, last one before we move on to episode 2. How about Troy Baker as Batman and Joker? Not familiar with this either. I'm familiar with the guy who plays the genie as the Joker. He was had dreads in that. What was that?
Okay, that's Kevin Michael Richardson from The Batman. You're thinking, not the movie, kids.
No.
The Batman from 2004.
God, so many side notes. Did you guys watch The Devil All the Time?
Not yet. I haven't yet.
No, I have not yet. Would you recommend it?
I 100% would. Very well acted, very well written movie. Robert Pattinson delivers a performance. He's doing something with his voice that I'm like, what register is your voice in? Because it's not falsetto, but it's somewhere living up here, my friend.
Yeah, Josh,
it's really cool. Yeah. Oh, dude, it's definitely not a waste of time by any stretch of the means. So a very well written, well crafted piece.
I've heard a lot of hype about it.
I mean, it's just it's a writer's movie because every piece you're watching is all going to come together. So it's one of those.
Sure. Right.
Yeah. But in the sense of there's nothing wasted. There's no bullshit. It's all great. Okay, cool. But yeah, sorry. Troy Baker, Batman and Joker. Fill me in, Dragon.
Okay, so Troy Baker is, he does a lot of the video games he usually does. And Troy Baker, he's played them both individually, but in one project, one of the really good projects, I think 2019 it came out. It was Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he played both roles because he's known for playing them in different things, but usually he plays Batman in the Telltale games wonderfully. I love his take on the Telltale Batman. And he's played Joker in Arkham Origins, which is set before the Arkham games of Mark Hamill's, like a younger version of the Joker. And he kind of took over the role when Mark Hamill kind of quasi-retired before he came out of retirement. So the point being, Troy Baker was the Joker after Mark Hamill. And Ninja Turtles, in the Batman vs. Ninja Turtles, he played both roles going up against each other. And he also plays the Lego Batman that is not Will Arnett. So any of the little specials and everything you see, it's all Troy Baker. So I really like the novelty. Oh my God, he's playing both roles. And he's doing it quite well. He does a really mean Joker. I wish he'd lean more into the Telltale Batman, but he's good.
Okay. No, yeah, I've never even heard of that. But I do. I mean, yeah, you even saying Mark Hamill coming out of retirement makes me just imagine if this Harley Quinn show had Mark Hamill as the Joker, and nothing against Alan Tudyk, but I think that would just put this over the top in a way that I don't think I would.
Josh, to play devil's advocate, I feel like Alan Tudyk kind of brings like younger, more kind of like rapscallion energy that Mark Hamill could have done with the role, though.
I mean, to be fair, though, Alan Tudyk's dealing with material along the lines of Sweet Home Alabama. No, I didn't even get to watch that, or whatever.
Legally Blonde or I'm out.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
Not wrong. It's certainly
like
there's
it's such
a character, but
I can hear Mark Hamill because you can hear Mark Hamill doing that with the straight up material he was given in Batman,
sure.
The animated series. So, I mean, no, and I appreciate you playing devil's advocate because we're on a friggin' podcast, baby. So that being said, let's move on to episode dos, a high bar. Sorry, right. Claudie, your comments coming down. Get out of here. All right, and let me put this episode on episode 2. 1 second. Can you guys go ahead? I'm going to run, and if you want to give your first impressions on episode 2, I'd appreciate it.
Sure.
So yeah, so high
episode
bar.
two,
Yeah,
the big thing for me on episode 2 is the introduction of the side villains. Especially the Bane and Scarecrow dynamic just absolutely kills me, Dragon. I love what they did with Bane, especially they made Bane a parody of the Dark Knight Rises, but still made him kind of like a straight faced villain at the same time.
absolutely. Bane was gold in the meeting of those two elements, and of course this runner like I'm gonna blow up this bar mitzvah. I'm gonna blow up
Blow up this bomb,
I'm gonna blow up Gotham Stadium, and of course more stuff to come. But high bar overall. Of course, the premise of High Bar, for those out there, again, we crash Penguin's nephew, Joshua Cobblepot's bar mitzvah. That sold me all right. That's a genius premise and a genius, almost like not a bottle up. I mean, it all takes place during the bar mitzvah and events around the bar mitzvah.
It's kind of a bottle episode.
Yeah, it is, right?
Kind of.
Yeah. It gets to that point. Basically, this is this episode for me, and why I love it, it's the mundane jackpot. Because, we have villains have family functions and off time. What are they doing this off time? That's what this is
right.
about.
It's kind of like the mission statement of the show. It kind of, it's exactly why we fell in love with Harley and Joker versus the real world.
Absolutely. So again, the two stand Bane, which we already talked about, and also Kite Man. Oh boy, Kite Man! You gotta love Kite Man. See, Kite Man, for the folks out there, he's come back into prominence thanks to Tom King, this excellent writer who was on the Bat books after Scott Snyder left. Not the current guy, the guy right before the current guy. I'm losing everybody with all the Tom King talk. Just trust me, good stuff. Anyway, so Kite Man, we get so much from a one-off joke of a character in this. The D-list gimmick villain in the hands of a modern writer, never underestimate. Look what Tom King did with Kite Man. Look what this show did with Kite Man. In the hands of a good writer, we can turn any D-list villain into gold.
Yeah, Kite Man is absolutely one of the characters. Not to give anything away for Josh in the back half of the season, but he's one of the characters that. He's one of the characters that absolutely has an arc in the back half. That's all I'll say.
Okay, well, and I heard you guys when I was refilling my rum and Coke, so I appreciate you all.
I'm drinking a Cabernet myself, Josh.
Oh, a cab, nice cab,
Yeah,
2222222. Dragon, are you a drinker? Do you drink alcohol, or you do not partake in vices?
Sir, I don't partake in vices, sir.
Nice. You're straight edge society. I love it.
Dragon's a good boy.
No, he's straight edge. I feel him. What's it called? I heard you all say Bane, and Bane stole this episode for me.
Bane's hilarious, is he not? I mean, come on.
Just you talking about it has reminded me we haven't seen him again, or I haven't yet in these episodes I've been watching.
Oh, you'll see him again.
You haven't gotten to one of the best Bane parts.
I can't wait. Yeah. But yeah, dude, from the moment they cut to him in the bar and doing that bit where what is it? The Gotham Stadium?
Yeah, I'm going to blow up Gotham Stadium because
I'm going to blow up Gotham Stadium. Yeah, and I was just like, oh my God. I was like, please give me so much more of this where you're justifying these tropes that we know with bullshit. So write your way out of all of this, please. Bane was awesome. I'm sorry. Continue, guys. You guys are talking about the bar mitzvah, the mundanity. Keep going. Kite Man.
Also, Jeffrey John, I just want to ensure you, Josh was totally kidding about the "you're my mom" comment. I mean, please don't take it seriously.
Hey, Tiki's mom, I just want to say I love your son's channel.
All right, he's kidding, Jeffrey Johns.
He knows. You guys are kidding.
What are you gonna do? I'm sorry.
Hey,
but yeah, I love the speaking of the mundane, I love the mundane aftermath of episode 1. Of course, we kind of glazed over a little because there's a lot to talk about, folks. But let's just kind of wrap it into here. I love how the end of the first episode is Harley Quinn. She's in the new outfit. She's tearing up the Joker's lair and everything. And of course, the idea is to kind of symbolically, she's traded the mallet for a bat in essence of a symbol. She's no longer competing with the Bat or the Batman. She's striking it out on her own. She's in a league of her. Sorry, a lot of puns there. But my point is, she made a big statement. I love the aftermath being Joker has to rebuild his lair, and he's dealing with contractors. Which
God, yes, so good.
You're wearing black-soled shoes. Put on.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk a little bit about that, because this was really the episode that, you know, I was like, okay, this is going to be a hard show to watch for me, because of, like, just they're tapping into the magic I found, and it was, like, making me like, oh, is my show even necessary to exist anymore, because
Josh,
the show is now delivering it in space.
Buddy, Dragon, can we just have a therapy session with this guy right now?
No.
You want to compliment him? Don't service our egos. Let's compliment the man. Let's not make a thing of it. Seriously, I don't know what Joshy Boy's thinking here, folks.
I really don't, Josh. Your show is unique. Your show is very much a breath of fresh air, especially for YouTube comedy. I mean, this is a very professionally made, like, Warner Brothers animated show that tackles similar subject matter to your show in a very broad way, but that doesn't mean that your show doesn't still kick ass from a YouTube perspective, Josh. Come on now.
Right, yeah. No, thank you so much, Tiki, for those kind words. I appreciate you. I mean, but I guess essentially I saw a void out there of this perspective on these characters, and I wanted to present that because I'm of the mindset of make the content you want to see. Like, I laugh at my own stuff because I'm writing what I'm a fan of. So I wrote this show because I found that void. And now when I was watching this show, and this is such a compliment to this show, and also, like, you know, the fact that it's so in line with my stuff, but then seeing literally, like, you know, Joker blowing up a Howie, or at the end of this episode, Mrs. Cobblepot has that vibe of Mrs. Erickson so badly. I'm like, oh my God, like, they're just tackling, even though they're not outright copying, although sometimes they are, Howie, what the hell? I don't care if it was Howie Mandel. I've never heard the name Howie in the last 20 years. Like,
you haven't heard any other Howies.
When was the last time you heard Howie before Howie Mandel in my show?
Howard Hamlin constantly in there. He's been called Howie last season on Better Call anyway.
God.
Well, okay, and then there's that, but then
Isn't there a Howie on the
Mrs.
Boys?
Cobblepot.
There's a Howie on the Boys, right?
Is there? Is his name Howie?
Oh no, there's a Huey. There's
Huey.
a Huey.
It's
I'm
Huey.
sorry.
You're talking about the main character, Quaid's son, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about Huey. My bad. That was a total
Yeah.
brain fart on my end.
But anyway, so, you know, in seeing that they're tackling this comedy, they're tackling these, like, perspectives, I don't know, it just made me kind of be like, oh, great, like, this now exists out there, so what's my next thing? Like, now I'm, like, looking for that new void, and now I'm talking to you guys as, you know, podcasters, and you guys know so much of my work. You've done podcasts on almost all of my work, and I love and appreciate you guys for that, but you also kind of recognize I do things I'm a fan of, and, you know, I try to keep challenging myself. That's why the episodes get bigger and better each time. I don't try to just rest on my
Josh,
laurels.
I feel like the key word with your show is the real world. That's the hook with your show. Like, with this show, as much character development as they give the characters, and that's absolutely what you're aiming to do with your show, I feel like the hook of your show is kind of the whole, like, okay, like, the whole, like, we're not in Gotham anymore vibe to it. The whole, you know, the whole idea that Joker is going to take over this very nefarious, very seedy, real world city, and he's going to do it from the inside out. That's the hook that I still feel like this show doesn't capture.
Totally.
And again, you've always had that Denny O'Neil thing. Of course, God rest Denny O'Neil. Of course, unfortunately passed away. But I've always said, like, you know, he kind of carved the niche that your show is brought to life in a way I've never seen before. Where it's, you know, it's the Joker in his own series, in basically in a show where he's leading and Batman is not, where we have, like, you make him kind of your hero protagonist by comparison, where he's not a hero at all, but he's
right
in LA, you know, it's all these crazies and he's going up against them, and he's impacting the culture. It's the Joker remaining static, but he's impacting people around. Of course, the bigger hook for the show, Addison. Again, exactly. It's always that look. It's that last little smile at the end, you know, it's like, oh my God, it's like that perfect moment.
I've thought about the ending of the show being actually not Addison and a very old Howie at a campfire telling the tale of his life.
Spoilers.
Kidding, of course. Howie
It just
dies.
ends
Are you
with Howie
kidding?
is a lumberjack. It ends with Howie is a lumberjack.
I've got my
I
own
love
theories about how
Dexter.
Harley Quinn and the Joker ends, sir. I'll have
You know, if the show gets to episode 10, I can promise Howie will not be around anymore.
Oh wow, that's a bold statement.
No, I mean, and I'll set it up for you guys. Like, I've told Alex this. There's going to be an episode where the Joker turns to everybody and says, "Oh, you've forgotten that I'm the bad guy." And then he kills Howie in front of everybody and like,
Oh fuck!
Oh,
Awesome,
yeah,
Josh. That's awesome.
This is why we need a show. So stop talking about.
Okay. I guess I got a few ideas left.
I'm gonna get. We gotta see 7, man. I want to see 7.
Oh my god,
Daniel.
Josh! That moment right there would just gobsmack me. Even though I would know it was coming.
Even though you like heard this little tease, whenever it happens, that you wouldn't know when it happens. Exactly. Because exactly like you're saying, I mean, I've never watched Dexter, but a serial killer being the person you're following. Or I have watched You. Did you ever watch that, Dragon?
Yeah, I did. Per your recommendation.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, when you're the reason that you can get attached to people who do bad things is because even bad people aren't bad 24/7. There's layers to you as a human being. And when they're the focus of the show, you can dissect and explore those layers. So that's why it takes you off guard when you're like, oh wait, right, I've been watching the bad guy this whole time. Fuck. Like I forgot. And that's what I want to like remind everybody at a certain point when I totally catch them off guard and they're so comfortable with the Joker as their hero. Who knows when that will happen. But back to this show, Harley Quinn the Animated Series, episode 2. Dragon, I'm sorry we didn't give our final thoughts in episode 1. You're right that we need to be giving those. Please, if I'm going too fast or not, having a good itinerary for how we're discussing this, chime in. Let me know.
You're doing great, Josh. You're doing great.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing good. But let me touch on Ivy because we kind of maybe zip past just the smidge here. So, take on Poison Ivy because again, she does have a role in here.
Poison Ivy is one of the backbones of the show.
She starts off a little Johnny Galecki to me, but she does get better.
What?
She starts off a little Johnny Galecki. All right. Well, I'm playing devil's advocate.
All right, fair enough. As another devil's advocate, I don't agree. I think Ivy is one of the backbones of the show from the start. I think she is the person pushing Harley in a different direction from the start, and I feel like she's the main support system. I feel like the show kind of rests on her a little bit.
Let me tell you what I really love about Ivy, and of course Frank too, the wonderful JB Smooth.
There we go. I was just gonna say, well, Ivy has
wonderful.
Frank, so that's why she's so good in the pilot, but she doesn't really shine until
God
Kite
damn
Man.
it, Larry!
Sorry. Go ahead, Dragon.
Yeah, but the thing with Ivy is I love that Ivy, despite we're going with like kind of the green Ivy, which basically she's more plant than woman. I love that we struck this perfect balance and we tied into the relationship with Harley Quinn, and that Ivy is at her most human, despite being at such a distance at it. Like she's not human, but she feels at her most human. This is the most human Ivy I've seen portrayed because Harley brought that out in her. Harley brought that out in her, and it's like I love that. It's Ivy being distanced from humanity is more like she's more witty and sardonic in that degree than it is like she's like I hate people. I don't people I view plant life more valuable than human life. And it's kind of it's nice.
So let me ask you this. So explain to me, now that I have you on a podcast where we're talking back and forth, why is she green? What is the deal? What is this greenness about? Like, people have commented to me, but like, explain to me why this Ivy's green and Pamela Isley, or like, I guess the Batman in the animated series is a human. What's the difference?
Very simple. So the early comics way back in the day, they had her in the first introduction. She is Human Plant Lady. The animated series did Human Plant Lady. She's a human but plant obsessed, and that's my preference, by the way. I like her because it makes it all creepier that she will kill a human but she'll spare a plant. I love that idea with that obsession. But when they did the revamp, they echoed what they had done in the comics after a while, where she experimented on herself, and she has it's like a chlorophyll sort of like photosynthesis thing where she experimented with herself, and that she would used to do stuff to plants, and she's made herself more plant-like as it went on. So now she's literally like if you cut her, she would bleed like chlorophyll.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So she at points like she was a
So-
bot,
But this is
botanist of
just
some
a
kind.
different version, or is it the same person, but we're at a point in the story where now she's experimented on herself?
This is like after she's experimented.
Okay,
so,
but it's supposed to
yeah.
be the same girl from Batman the Animated Series.
Well, I mean, it's again, we jumped into it with her just as the Green Plant Lady. I mean, I can assume like she started off born human, and
Let me clarify my question with this,
Okay.
Dragon.
All right.
In the 2 seasons that you've watched of Harley Quinn
Yeah.
the Animated Series, are we in the same universe as Batman the Animated Series, or are we in another universe?
oh god, no, we're not in the animated series universe. At all.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
I didn't
Dragon's
know
a
if
very,
this is
very-
like.
No, well, no,
I
we're-
know.
we're
I didn't
not,
know
we're
if
not.
they were using that as the basis, and they're like, "This is where we're at in time, future forward." Jim Gordon's a crackpot, and it's
No,
been,
no,
you know,
no,
like
no. But you gotta remember, that Harley
Got
was
it.
created in the animated series, so her getting her own animated series is a momentous, appropriate thing. So it's all
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you for clarifying that.
Sure. So,
But
yeah.
okay. Okay, so I think we've kind of talked a little various things.
Yeah.
Let me actually say this about Poison Ivy. I feel like this episode with the kids, with the love potion, that ending scene where she's turning them back into humans. What is it? I think I'm still a little tree. Like that was that line killed me. I remember. So she definitely showed a lot more versus, oh, I love you, Harley, but you're crazy. I'm just gonna be that feminist bitch for the whole pilot. So she kind of started loosening up, especially after her relationship developed with Psycho. I love that. So she definitely grows on me, but I will say that Ivy from jump, it wasn't until this episode where I was really starting to gravitate towards her. She was just kind of like, oh, I get your character as the voice of reason.
Yeah.
I know why you're here. Okay, great. Moving on. But yeah, Tiki, your thoughts on Ivy and this episode as a whole. Let's start off with our final thoughts on High Bar.
Just final thoughts on this episode. I don't have much to say. I think it's thoughts on Ivy. I agree with you that episode 1. I don't know. I wasn't as harsh on her as you were, but I kind of see what you're saying, that she was a little one note. But episode 2 really quickly just kind of goes to show that she's got dimension to her.
Yeah.
And episode 2, I just think, is a fun little bottle episode. You know, we get to be introduced to a lot of the rogues gallery. We're kind of building up the Legion of Doom, which is fun in its own way, kind of getting some plot there. And just overall, just a nice build on what we had before.
Yeah, I agree with that. A good build. I want to say, and then we'll get your final thoughts, Dragon. Let me go ahead and chime in here. Claude Coringa, Poison Ivy is like the darker, mature, and adult-friendly of Shigo from Kim Possible.
Shigo.
I said
And
both
Shigo plays
versions
Mrs.
for the love of
Copperpot.
God. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's Nicole Sullivan, the wonderful Nicole Sullivan, and I love that gag so much. Oh, thanks, Mrs. Cobblepot. They like the Laverne and Shirley kind of take on Harley and Ivy. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Or that character and villains being happy with an old lady. Oh, perish the thought of that originality.
Well, no one's gonna do that. Let's be honest.
But no one can be Barbara Goodson, the original Rita Repulsa from Power Rangers. So let me see here. Yeah, so anyway, my final thoughts. I loved this episode, honestly. I don't know if I would say this is my favorite of the show so far that I've seen, and granted, I've only seen half of season 1, but I loved, like Dragon brought out, the mediocrity is at an all-time high in this episode, and that's brilliant. The bar mitzvah, the penguin, the fact that there's so many villains, Bane stealing the show. The Joker kind of is really established as the foil. He is still the villain in this show, as far as I've seen so far anyway. So maybe that changes and evolves, and he's actually just a character. And there's
the lingering threat through the whole first season is her potentially getting back together with him.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I just mean like he's the villain in the sense of like anytime she's foiled or stopped, it's because of him. Like even when she's looking for a nemesis, he's the actual villain.
Yeah, she
that
can't
comes
get
in,
away
you know?
from her past,
yeah.
which is the Joker. That's,
So, and that is kind of set up right here. I mean, it's set up in the beginning, like, I want to get away from you, but it's set up here in the sense of, I want to get away from you, but I want to beat you. And like Tiki said, it's kind of it builds on the first episode. It introduces us to new characters. Kite Man, I had never heard of, and he was killing it for me. And, we haven't even gotten into the main crux of the series, which is her and her gang. And yet this episode was such a fun one-off to show like the world prior to her establishing herself. Yeah, so those are my final thoughts. Aside from the Mrs. Cobblepot, Mrs. Erickson ripoff, the blowing up somebody named Howie with a timer ripoff, this episode was pretty good. Dragon?
Okay, I'm going to tell you to brace yourself for season 2, little mister, with all the Harley Quinn.
Oh, God.
Seriously, there's an episode that you're going to be really down on yourself on if you're thinking like that, mister. I'm going to tell you that. Okay, anyway. So, High Bar again, one of my favorites. I don't know if it's the favorite of the season, but it's absolutely a standout for me. It's the one that got me really into like, okay, now I'm fully in the show.
Yeah.
Again, this episode, in terms of the plotting, I like that, Harley Quinn, the therapist, comes out by the end. It's kind of Harley Quinn dealing with, like, real-life problems. And, again, like, she's essentially, she has an ex, and she's kind of has to kind of confront him at a party when she's trying to make her own stamp and try to kind of get in on the Legion of Doom and everything. She can't put the Joker aside because he wants to have the last word, hence the blowing up of Howie Mandel. God rest Howie Mandel. But yeah, it's I like that season one's the theme of season 1 comes into play here, where she calls out, the Legion of Doom doesn't have to take Joker's abuse, much like she doesn't have to take the Joker's abuse. Like, it's the whole theme of the seasons, like, end the cycle, change the status quo. That's kind of the big imperative for season 1 here, and it's very well executed. It's a lot of fun, of course. Gets us Kite Man.
Hold on, let's pause real quick, Blade Dragon. So you're saying you excuse the name Howie because it's played by Howie Mandel. Does Howie Mandel actually have a cooking show? I don't think so. Okay. Does what's the name of the talk show that's on the Harley Quinn show? Tara or
Tawny.
Tawny. Is that played by someone named Tawny? No. Okay, they can change the name. They chose Howie because they're ripping me off.
That's not diluted at all, Josh. Sure.
All right.
Okay.
I'm having a blast. No, I'm sorry. All right.
Jeffrey John, man, you're fine. Don't apologize for
Jeffrey
joking around,
John,
dude.
you're chilling. I'm just kidding. I know you're not Tiki's mom. Okay, Paloma.
Yeah, you're totally fine, bro.
I love your picture, Paloma. I don't know who that guy is with you, but I want to know more about him.
Hold on, Jeffrey Johns. Hold on. Like, no. I don't know. Like, at this point, I don't know. I don't know if you're trolling or not, bro. But like, yeah, no.
Tiki, I get why you're adamantly talking about Jeffrey John. At first, the reason I didn't even think twice about his comment is I thought he was saying, "I'm thinking Suicide Squad is his best way." Jeffy John, you need to chill out, bro. Everything's fine. You're fine. I don't know what this
totally
is about.
fine, bro.
You went from
needed.
You were. I'm saying you're gone in 60 seconds. Okay. I don't know how we went from 0 to 100. But
dude,
we need to get back.
Fine. You're fine, Jeffy. You're fine.
We love you,
totally
Jeffy.
Fine.
Seriously.
We love you, Jeffy.
We're all good here. Paloma, I just want to say I love your name, Paloma, because it makes me think of the Amazon tick. I just want to get that in there. Okay.
Paloma Logan Taboda. There is a season 3. It's coming out soon enough. Is there a release date, Dragon? Tiki, do you guys know?
No date yet because production being what it is at the moment. But it's we know where it's going to end up. Possibly they've been preparing for a season 3, so maybe faster than we think. So possibly next year. I don't know. I don't want to guarantee that, but if it's next year, it's going to be towards like the end of next year, I'm sure.
And if you're asking about season 3 of Cobra Kai, it's in the can, edited, ready to go, waiting to be dropped.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai. All right.
So we gotta sit down and talk about that,
dude. I love it, dude. There's reasons for everything, and there's reasons why it all works, and I would love to dissect that. Not that I'm not having a great time talking about Harley Quinn, but let's move on to the next episode, which is So You Need a Crew. Also a good episode where we get the introduction of Psycho and Clayface, not Shark King or King Shark yet, but he's great.
Psycho is such a great character for this show, man.
Oh yeah,
I have so many nice things to say about King
dude.
Shark.
I mean, here's the deal, guys. Like a long time ago, I actually met the guy who plays Cycle, Tony Hale, and he was an asshole. He's just not a nice guy. So that's why every time I see him, Toy Story 4 was like ruined for me when I was like, oh, you're Forky, you bitch.
Oh, God.
Saddest thing I've ever heard.
But I will say, hearing him as Psycho and that Psycho's a little shit works perfectly. He's great. I'll tell you another thing. Johnny Walter, who played Taylor in Watching You, there's a reason he was acting that great. He's an asshole, but he played an asshole perfectly. So.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm glad it works for you somehow.
Yeah. So anyway, so that is why I don't like Tony Hale, because when I met Tony Hale, no bueno. But Psycho, great character, and this is where he's introduced. So let's talk about it. Dragon, why don't you guys go start with your thoughts like last time, please?
Tiki?
I mean, just the fact that his whole arc is like he's a shame supervillain for calling Wonder Woman the C word. I mean, that's so perfect. That's so perfect.
The Wonder Woman foe today, like the world of today, with a series of PR nightmares in his future, I'm sure.
I just love the fact that this guy is like very clearly, like kind of the take on like cancel culture, and like someone who's been canceled and who's trying to get himself back in the limelight however he can.
Yeah, and of course, again, in a world where Wonder Woman is such a celebrated hero now she's had a movie and people have actually seen Wonder Woman in action outside the animated stuff, which is also great. It's like, hey, oh my god, of course, if Wonder Woman was as popular as she was today, then obviously her going up against it wouldn't be under all the scrutiny in the world, especially if he really lost his temper and said bad guy things and was caught. And oddly, I still don't get this. I don't understand why the C word is the only censored word within the show. I don't get that.
I mean, the C word does have a lot of
say
connotations, Dragon.
I mean, yes, but I'm just saying you can say everything else. I mean, I don't. Anyway, well, point being,
I mean, honestly, maybe they censor it just for comedy.
I mean, that's a fair point, I guess, and maybe maybe you're right, man. I never thought of it that way. I think you're right. Okay, so Harley Quinn, she builds her crew this episode, and basically, I love that Harley Quinn, she realizes she needs her own, essentially Harley Quinn and or her help, her own henchmen. But I love that Harley Quinn, in building her team, building her crew, it's not just henchmen, but it's recruiting other people who like her. Not just in that I need henchmen, but recruiting other people like her who are looking for a second chance at villainy in a new direction, which is kind of nice.
Sure.
Yeah. Of course, so we also get Clayface.
Yeah, Clayface, definitely the most developed we've ever seen Clayface, I think. In the animated series, we might have hinted at his acting career here and there, but here it's front and center.
Wonderful double role by the great Alan Tudyk yet again.
Oh, yeah.
He's a really great stand-up line a couple episodes later, but again, the hammy actor. And again, this is where we're playing a lot of the LA culture, which Josh has kind of spoken to in his live reactions as well. He's loving kind of the LA, kind of the writers and like very LA-based writing, and I think it transfers into Clayface. I've never thought of I'm always thinking like Basil Karloff or like Matt Hagen, like like the famed horror actor, like doing like a Boris Karloff sort of thing. In this case, it's like, oh my god, it's. What if he was a struggle? What if he wasn't that good at acting?
Right, right.
What if he was, what if he's just trying to make his got very method? Like, what if he was one of those guys, like a studio apartment guy? What if he was?
Mm-hmm.
So again, so I also love that we go to the Underworld. I love the locations we set up here. We have the Underworld Talent Agency, the Underworld Talenting UTI, which is kind of a fun double joke, and Noonan's Villain Bar. A little hangout for all. Like every bar in the DC's always got these bars where villains hang out. Like the Flash Rogues all hang out at like the villain bar, that sort of thing. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I loved when she went to go to that office building. Like that's exactly what I mean of like those types of jokes are also like, oh, where do you go to get a crew? Obviously, there's a building just set up for that. Like, in the real world. So it's great comedy. I missed a little bit when I left the room on your thoughts on Dr. Psycho. I heard about Clayface. But yeah, what were your all's thoughts on Psycho? I'm sorry.
Just again, it makes sense to do a Wonder Woman. A Wonder Woman foe would have all the scrutiny on him today with how popular she's gotten, and of course, just reflecting that in the show is a good call.
It's a clever take on cancel culture.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
When the whole bleeping of the C word and that whole thing.
Right. Yeah. And they bleep. But I was confused. I know you saw me. I mentioned it when I did my reaction. They bleep him when he's just talking, not on TV.
Well, that's the only curse word they bleep in the entire series, just the C word. And Tiki raised a point I never thought of, but maybe it was just done on purpose, where, again, it's like just to make it funnier and just to drive home how horrible it is.
It's funny, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, on Gallivant, not so much. Here, it works.
Funny.
You think that beep is... No, I'm just joking. It was funny. It was good. I was just like, wait, I was confused, because I'm like, TVMA, say whatever you want. Let's see here. Tiki, and your thoughts on Dr. Psycho? I heard you a little bit, but what were you all saying about Clayface?
Yeah, my thoughts on Clayface are just that I basically echoing what Dragon said. I think that he's the most well-developed Clayface we've seen. Usually Clayface kind of has shades of like, oh, I want to be an actor. But this Clayface, it's just, they go all in on the struggling actor thing, and it's like, it's total identity in this show.
Oh, he's great. He has a line in 5 that we'll get to in a second.
I know.
Where he's like,
oh, yeah.
Frankie Muniz!
I know! I love that line. Yeah. Frankie Muniz!
Like, I wasn't writing or taking notes, and I had to put... like, I was like, you have to remember that Frankie Muniz. That was amazing.
The milkman gambit. The fact that he overacts. Again, he's the struggling LA actor, but he also overacts when he's getting into the roles. Like, he just needs to play a milkman or something, a mailman. He ends up being being like he goes from a milkman to a son to like all the defects. He becomes like a hunchback with a lisp and with eyes, and it's a whole...
Oh, God, yeah. And then when his hand gets chopped off, oh, God, good stuff coming up.
Oh, we're going to get there, buddy. Yeah. We're going to get there.
MB, Country Queen, Harley Quinn is the best. Love your profile pic. Very cool aviator shades. I like that we get to see these profile pics on this. So, yeah, good job on that. I agree. Harley Quinn's great. I don't know if she's the best. Honestly, where's the Riddler been? I missed the Riddler. Did we kind of fail to talk about that in that?
Yeah, we did. He's in the... We forgot to talk about him.
But the Riddler was great whenever he came up. Who plays him, Dragon?
Yeah, the Riddler is... Oh, God, I'm kind of blank. Oh, it's Jim Rash. Jim Rash plays the Riddler.
Okay, so, no idea who that is.
I'm not familiar with him either. I did a little research before this.
It was good. It was good. No, and I appreciate it. That's why I asked. I knew you did, which is profesh.
Oh, I remember who he is. He's the guy from Community. He's the guy with the bald guy with the glasses in Community.
Jimmy Rash. Okay. No, Harley is funny and evil and all the above. Who is... Okay, so let's just take MB Country Queen's question here as a question. What is your favorite character in this show, as we're talking about episode 3 currently?
Oh. Honestly, probably Psycho or Joker, just because I'm a sucker for the villains.
Okay.
I mean, up to this point, I mean, if we're just going up to 3, I mean, Bane still is really priceless. I mean, between Bane and Alan Tudyk's Joker, I mean, they're probably. But again, there hasn't been a miss. So I don't think there's any bad characters necessarily so far up to this point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and I would definitely agree with that. I mean, even though I've only seen Bane in 1 episode, I would say that he stole that episode from Harley Quinn. Until she killed an improv troupe, which was funny.
Oh, yeah, the Joshua Bucks heist going wrong.
Yeah. Joshua Bucks? Wait, well, what the hell is this?
Oh, yeah, Claude brought up this earlier. He really liked that Sean Giambrone played Joshua, the Cobblepot in that. So, also, again, from the Goldbergs. Love the Goldbergs.
I have never seen the Goldbergs, but he's
really
from
good.
Solar Opposites.
Yeah, yes, he plays one of the kids in Solar Opposites.
Yeah, he's the little boy. That's the only place I know him from. Is that Yumulak? No.
Isn't there like a nickname? But Yumulak, sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to correct you on Solar Opposites.
No, I think you're right. The point being Yumulak. The point being
okay. So you need a crew. She gets her we haven't even been doing rundowns of these episodes. We're assuming you as a listener, as a viewer, have watched all of this because you're listening to a review podcast on it. But so you need a crew basically follows Harley in her attempt to recruit Psycho and Clayface. And that's pretty much all she gets to in this episode. And she's denied the normal procedure of the way a criminal will go about getting one. So she has to kind of improvise a little bit. Remind me, what was the storyline with Ivy in this one?
Well, Ivy's basically Ivy's trying to open Harley's eyes to the whole glass ceiling thing, which we kind of explore through Queen of Fables. Basically, she's saying, "I believe in you, Harley. I believe you can do that." Like Frank gets all teared up on the couch, like, "That would feel this for me." That whole thing.
Mm-hmm. And this is the episode where they break into the guy who's like sexually harassing her.
Okay, so Maxie Zeus is from he's from the comics and he was in the animated series, but this is Will Zazzo, one of the Three Stooges from the remake. Good. He has that show. He had a show.
Will Sasso?
Yeah, Will Sasso.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Like Curly in the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
From Mad TV. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
So
yeah, he was great.
So Maxie Zeus, pretty much with the gag here is like they have a D-list foe, Batman villain with a god complex who is basically spun that into like a self-help seminar. He's a god complex turns like I'm gonna build myself up and kind of inspire a whole bunch of people, kind of yes man style.
Yeah. No,
he's very sleazy, like Zeus.
Oh, it was perfect. Everything, like when they went to his show, and this was also one that I did this was the last one I did a reaction on, which is why I'm a little more scarce in remembering it. I feel like the ones I watched without me talking through, I got a lot more out of. So let me see here. But my overall impressions from this episode were getting to know Dr. Psycho. My bias aside, I thought he was a great character right from jump, and he grows on you even more so. He is the one who's like, I think there was one, I don't even know what the line is, but there's a line, I think it's in episode 6 where he's like, "Don't you Italian chef kiss at this." Like it was and I was like, "Oh wow, now you're my favorite character." You're right. Like so to specify that, like, "Don't you laze dill potato chips at me," like just to specify it so greatly. It was awesome. So he's an awesome character. Clayface is great. And their introductions, I thought this was a solid episode, but I will say also, it's almost like needed. Like you can't just have banger after banger. Like you need let's set some stuff up so the next episode is really great, So this was, I felt, one of those episodes where it's like, oh, we're doing some setup here. I'm enjoying it, but I know what's coming is going to be way better.
Yeah, and the KG Beast thing at the opening, or she has to open the three things, and she doesn't have enough limbs. She can't open. It doesn't have the 3 keys. It's a very simple thing. Where she's gonna need assistance. But I love that Harley Quinn isn't just making simple goons or potentially other Harley Quinns. She's just seeing other people like herself in the crew, and that kind of makes that dynamic really endearing. She's
not picking up Mexicans from Home Depot, hobos, and Craigslist actors. Okay, I know.
Basically, yes.
Not since the last time I checked, no.
I don't think so. Chappy. Paloma says, the guy in the picture is a musician named Riker Lynch. He was a bassist player for the band called R5, but helps out playing for the Driver era. Hey, Paloma, that's a cool guy, and you look cool too. Thank you for clarifying that question I asked. My favorite version of Harley is probably Suicide Squad Harley. Shame on you, MB Country Queen. Your favorite should be Brianna Oppenheimer or Nicole Dubois. Speaking of which, I've never asked you guys, who do you all prefer, Brianna or Nicole?
Oh, man.
That's a great question. You guys can mull it over if you don't know.
I feel like Nicole... I feel like Nicole just came in with such an energy and such like a, taking ownership of the role that at this point I'm kind of leaning Nicole, and maybe I'm leaning Nicole just because I'm sick of hearing the comments of like, oh, where's the old Harley?
Yeah. I know. I'm just like, God, at least put her fucking name in the comments.
I want to be on Nicole's side because of that.
Yeah.
I love them both, and I love that we're in a world where we, with the Harley Quinn and the Joker, where again we have like two excellent takes on Harley, both of which are great. Again, I keep using the analogy. Brianna Oppenheimer is more like the Arlene Sorkin Harley, and you have the Tara Strong Harley. Again, it's Tara Strong meets Alice from the Honeymooners as Nicole Dubois' Harley.
And as I've just watched The Honeymooners, I get what you mean.
Exactly, and I think here's the thing: Brianna has the advantage that she had like a lot of the stand-ups. As of course, episode 4 everyone goes to is one of their favorites. Yeah. In that because of the whole the big kind of the big moment at the party, and however, I'm magnetically drawn to the performance of Nicole Dubois, and I see utmost potential in. I just want to see more from it. So I think once they have a same number of episodes, then circle back with that question. But so far, right. I mean, I don't know, maybe slightly more towards Nicole Dubois, but they're both great.
Totally. Yeah. And if you watch any of Nicole Dubois' TikToks, you can just see how much of a powerhouse she is. Her Florida Girl is a very popular character right now that she's doing, where she's like, "Know your fakes." And MB Country Queen, if you're a kid and I'm cussing, then get the fuck off. I'm sorry. This is YouTube. Monitor yourself. I don't care. I'm over it.
Sorry, kiddo.
Sorry, kiddo. I love you all, but I can't be responsible for. I mean, like, there's so much crazy stuff. Like, this is the.
I mean, we're talking about an R-rated show right now.
We're talking about TVMA, where the only word bleeped is the C word.
Yes.
And you're saying I'm a kid and this guy be cussing, and then you refer to yourself as, "Dang, bro, I'm just a little kid." Like, dang, bro. You know what, MB Country Queen? You got aviators on, so I'm thinking you're Leo DiCaprio. Okay. So I gave. Thank you, brother. I'm well warmed up from talking to Austin for 6 hours. So
we have another alumni in this. We have Queen Fables.
Ooh, wait, what?
We have another Curb Your Enthusiasm alumni, Queen of Fables. It's Wanda Sykes.
Oh, right. Oh, I forgot that she's in.
We have JB Smoove and we have Wanda Sykes, two Curbs.
I didn't watch the season that Wanda's in. Is she part of JB's family?
No. She's been in it since probably since, if not since the beginning, then since season 2 on.
So she just plays herself.
Yeah, plays herself.
Plays
herself just as a friend of the David family. It's kind of.
Oh, okay. No. I've seen. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm remembering some early episodes.
I know she's actually in there 3 onward. I think 2 onwards.
I think I watched Curb up to the Ben Stiller stuff, and then I skipped a lot of seasons and started watching the Seinfeld season 7 and onward. But yeah. Okay. Let me see here. We're gonna get the final thoughts of episode 3 from Dragon and Tiki. But first, Jeffy, John, and Claude Karinga have a question. So let's go through these. First of all, let's go with this one. What live-action version of the Joker is your favorite, gentlemen?
Ledger.
I will go ahead and count myself out of this topic.
Yeah, we kind of have to, because again, it's too easy to say, Josh,
I love you, boy. I love you, but I mean, Heath Ledger just brought something iconic to the silver screen.
Let me say this. It's a boring answer, but I mean, Heath Ledger is hard to beat. To give credit where credit's due, Joaquin Phoenix was also really good, and also just to give him credit, Cameron Monaghan, while he didn't get to play the Joker in Name, he was also rather fantastic. I thought he was fantastic in that role, but I mean, no question, Heath Ledger. I mean,
oh yeah, I just watched
some obscure Joshua Thomas kid who's doing an amazing Joker on a web series. We should check him out too.
Dude, here's the deal, guys. You've only seen me play the Joker in me also writing and directing. I never just get to cut loose as the Joker, acting and not dealing with every other thing on set happening at the same time. So who knows what my true Joker would be. One day, hopefully, we'll find out. What I will also chime in with, there's a brand new documentary on the trilogy of The Dark Knight on the WB YouTube channel right now. I mean, I don't know how new it is, but it seemed pretty new because they interview.
Yeah, I think they've just been putting him back on there.
Okay, I never saw it before because it goes through all three of them in a retrospective light, looking at them individually and collectively with people like Guillermo del Toro talking on it and other directors and filmmakers about it and Christopher Nolan. Anyway, dude, you can't say the best live act. Like, Heath Ledger was it. He is why I wanted to play. Like, Mark Hamill, yeah, I saw him as a kid, and I loved the Joker and that. But when I saw Heath Ledger, I was just like every other person in that audience. Like, this is something we've never seen before. Like, this performance, powerhouse.
It's as scary as it was funny.
Yeah. And to look back on that performance, to look back on what he does in just one movie, that iconic two boats having to make a decision to kill the other with like that, it was genius, and they dissect that. So anyway, so yes, Heath Ledger hands down is the best Joker. He is my complete inspiration. I originally was going to be, I think I've told this story on a live stream. If not, I'll rehash it here for you guys. The pilot was supposed to be my Joker starting out as Mark Hamill and then becoming Heath Ledger by the end of that. And then it just became like, oh no, we have a bigger story to tell, so I'm just going to be a real character as a Joker. But I still have like goals of turning my Joker. There's a reason that Heath Ledger doesn't have Harley Quinn. There's like, so what happens to the Joker in an evolutionary terms? I feel like Heath Ledger performed that well, and I am inspired by it completely.
I'm so hyped. I can't contain myself. Seriously, it's just, it sounds so amazing, but we gotta talk about this.
Well, we do, but at first I just need to soak up this comment right here. Oh, yeah, give it to me, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh,
he's assembling a spirit bomb, folks. A spirit bomb of good vibrations. Give him your compliments, folks. He's gonna wipe out Kid Buu. All right.
Yeah. Dude, there's a wrestler named Keith Lee who has his finishing move, and it's the Spirit Bomb. And there's another wrestler named Matt Riddle, and his finishing move is the Final Flash, which was Vegeta's finishing move.
And the whole Gallic Gun, the Final Flash, yeah.
Gallic Gun! Oh, God. You guys don't, man, if I ever get the finances in place and be the person behind a Dragon Ball Z official property, you don't even know what would come. It would be the best thing you've ever seen in your life.
I have no doubt.
I appreciate you. Oh, God. And then Claude Karinga just dampening the mood. Ugh.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, I mean, to be fair, until we get this mythical Ayers cut, which I'm sure there is footage. The point being, if we ever see that, I always feel bad putting down Jared Leto because we don't know what he was doing with the role because they cut out all the scenes. They cut out like that sweet Capullo-looking Joker shot, which we had no idea what he was supposed to be doing with the role. It feels like had that role actually paid off, all the weird stuff he did, all the methody weird stuff he did might have paid off.
Here's where I become this guy named Tiki and play devil's advocate.
Okay.
What if you only saw one scene of Heath Ledger as the Joker? Pick any scene of his. Any scene of his. And you'd still know how good he is. Just name one of his scenes. The prison scene, the pencil scene, the pool stick scene, any of them. And you'd be like, he's fucking amazing. Jared Leto, even though I didn't see the full thing, I saw more than enough to say, meh. Johnny Galecki as the Joker?
The Nebuchadnezzar, New Jersey Joker, yes.
I absolutely think that Leto Joker, I mean, the line that I keep coming back to is just like the ultimate failure on Leto's Joker is the whole, like, when he just straight up says, like, I'm an idea. And I'm just like, no shit, Joker. You're not supposed to outright say that. That's supposed to be like the idea behind you.
Right. Yeah. He was literally like if the Joker was not charismatic.
Basically.
Like, the Joker is an asshole. He's a criminal. You're supposed to hate him. But there's something about him that lures you in. And that was missing from Jared Leto. He didn't lure me in.
Greg Rucka who said it best. I think it was him. He said, "The Joker, when written right, you should read the book and you should laugh and you should be horrified that you laughed."
I love that. I will move on from there because, but bottom line, not hiding anything, Jared Leto, worst live action Joker. I'll take Cesar Romero.
Oh, I will easily take.
Yeah, I've been rewatching '60s Batman. He's still really good.
Toy, hello, Toy. You're awesome. I love you. Thank you for jumping on all these streams, all the stereo chats that you've jumped on. Toy is awesome. I have also spoken with Toy because of stereo. She finally got HBO Max. Harley Quinn starts off with a hell of a bang in episode 1. If you missed the beginning of this chat, go back when we're done. Toy, we talk about episode 1 and exactly say that. We feel like the pilot episode was perfect. Not perfect, but that it set up the series very well, and we're right on board with you in that. So, now, finally, circling back, final thoughts on episode 3. I already gave mine. Dragon.
Again, it's solid episode. We're building the crew, good stuff there. It's pretty straightforward. Again, I like it's kind of the team building episode, not just literally, but again metaphorically. Harley's coming into her own, and she's not becoming a stereotypical villain. She's not like being like the Joker incarnate. She's doing her own thing, and she's treating kind of the goons or the henchmen with a lot of respect and treating them like partners, not goons and henchmen, which is rather nice. So all that comes together quite nicely. And of course, the Harley Quinn Highway payoff is just gold. I mean, I love we set it up.
Yeah.
We pay it off, and I'll tease this. There's more to come.
Ooh. Nice. Tiki.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I think it's a very solid episode. It kind of introduces the team.
Well, find something! No, I'm just joking.
It kind of introduces the dynamics that we're going to get in episode. We're going to get more of them in episode 4. It introduces Dr. Psycho, who's a great villain and a great foil for Harley Quinn and the rest of the female characters in the show. I like that Dr. Psycho is kind of like a commentary on cancel culture. Overall, just a really fun episode that kind of goes a long way towards building the vibe of the show.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Totally joking, Tiki. Love you. I would just say, of course, I would just rehash my statement and saying, like this episode, but I truly felt it was more setup than payoff, and it had introductory characters. If you look at my show, episode 2 is so much more successful than episode 1 because we're off to the races and we're just living in it now. We're not even like introducing anything. So it's really great. Even though we are introducing Howie. So moving on to episode 4 of this show, not my show, but I can't help and compare. That's the whole point of these live streams. We're going on to Finding Mr. Right, which I really enjoyed because this is going to be the Robin episode.
Yes.
I thought this was really fun. So
this was hilarious. This was a really clever take.
Yeah, this was great. So here's my admittance. I've never seen a single episode of Teen Titans ever.
Meh.
So is this the Robin from that? Is that what it's based on, or is this just based on?
No, this is Damian Wayne. So that's definitely not the Teen Titans Robin.
Oh, okay. So who is it? Tim Drake?
Yeah, no, this is
Damian Wayne.
Okay.
No. Teen Titans.
So, okay, so Josh.
Oh, Teen Titans is Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is actually
that's
like why he's
the
saying
original
father.
Animated. Yeah.
Okay, so this is actually Bruce
so
Wayne's
Damian
son.
Wayne is the yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay, I had no idea. I'm unfamiliar with Damian Wayne. Fill me in. I have not.
I was unfamiliar with Damian Wayne until I read the Scott Snyder stuff. Don't worry.
Never heard of this. Tell me, Dragon. Fill me in.
Okay, I'll try to keep it simple. So I love Ra's al Ghul, and basically, Batman he kind of has a thing with Ra's al Ghul's daughter. It's very his name was Talia al Ghul, and essentially, Ra's al Ghul always wants Batman to be his successor, and the idea is maybe he would sire a child with Talia. So essentially, Talia drugged Batman one night, and they sired a child. Oh. And that is Damian Wayne. So the idea, the son of Batman is trained to be an assassin for the League of Assassins, which obviously is very counterintuitive to what Batman's all about. This kid's like a trained killer ninja, and Batman essentially, through being training him to be a Robin, he kind of told him to relent a little bit. And he was always like kind of weaning him off the assassin lifestyle and killing him and all that stuff. So Damian Wayne, he's popularity wise, he's always kind of been a little bit of a roller coaster because again, the whole ex-killer thing really rubbed people the wrong way, myself included. But over the years, he kind of grows on you a little bit. And I think that at this point, yeah, I wasn't super crazy about this take on Robin. I think the whole Jacob Tremblay Robin, the kid from Room with Brie Larson. That's this kid growing up. I don't know, this whole sweet potato pie angle on Robin. I mean, basically, because the idea is Damian Wayne, he's far more grown up than he seems. Like he is a kid, the youngest of the Robins for sure, but he's very mature for his age, and this is like he's all cutesy and I'm a sweet potato pie, and I'm like, they give him the cutesy voice and everything. I don't know, it just feels he's not serious at all. I mean, that's a nitpick. I mean, it doesn't take away from the episode and what it's going for. It's just that's the heightened. I can get behind all the other heightened elements of the season. This is like the one heightened element. It's like I don't know about that. That's just me.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah, I was very confused because I didn't know if it was supposed to be like Dick Grayson or what was going on, and like I've never really followed any of the Robin storylines outside of Nightwing, so I'm not familiar with what was happening, but I enjoyed it in the sense that it was different and it's not Batman. Like I got the vibe of what they were trying to do in the show. But yeah, like thank you for filling me in on where he came from and what his backstory was because I had zero clue.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah. So that being said, let's get into it. Season 1, Episode 4, Finding Mr. Right, up-and-coming supervillain Harley Quinn goes after a nemesis. So in this episode, she, like we say, trying to find a nemesis, hoping that it's going to be someone cool, and it ends up being Robin.
But it's not even a cool version of Robin. And Josh,
Right.
That, I think, is the joke of Damian Wayne. It's like, it's not even Nightwing. It's not even Jason Todd,
Right, because
it's the version of Robin that you haven't even heard of.
Who had sex with Harley Quinn in the movie?
Well, wait, which movie? You
In the one where it was played by Bernadette.
In the Harley Quinn.
That was Nightwing.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
that was Nightwing.
Yeah, that was Nightwing.
So Nightwing, okay. Yeah. Exactly. So I hate that movie even exists. Right before
believe
this.
me, brother.
There's
the same boat.
a lot of that.
Well, I mean, like,
no idea.
Like if they, I wish just like whoever the execs were like, well, we got the show coming out, we don't need the movie.
See, the problem. Let me tell you, I'm going to keep it simple here. I'm going to spin this into a point about this episode.
Okay.
All right. So the problem with that Batman Harley Quinn movie is that they had Bruce Timm, who's responsible for the aesthetics and like the idea, hey, let's put Harley Quinn in this episode and then we'll keep her on, of course, designing her. But Paul Dini, of course, is the writer. He's very much responsible for the backstory on Harley Quinn, the mad love of it all, like everything that kind of comes from Harley Quinn. The whole he knew Arlene Sorkin. Arlene Sorkin essentially is the model for the character. So all that's Paul Dini. Paul Dini did not write that movie.
Oh.
So you're missing the other half of your equation. That's why that movie turns out aesthetically, it's like great. We're back in the animated series.
Paul Dini is he writing on this show? No, or is he producing?
No. He's not involved in this one. I'm just saying that Dini created Harley Quinn. But
so then why is this show? I mean, but your logic there doesn't make sense because he also has nothing to do with this. So it's still possible to do something.
Well, again, this is a very different take on Harley, though. That's the thing.
Going for, that makes sense. Okay, but
that whole movie
was trying to
on,
be right.
Exactly. That's where that breaks down. But here's why I'm spinning this back into Paul Dini, the animated series. They kind of take a seed of an idea and they do their own thing with it. Here it really works. Is that Dini had this philosophy with the Batman villains that works perfectly with the whole kind of mundanity and the kind of the LA centric writing style and everything where. Paul Dini paralleled the villains to the LA celebrity culture in the animated series, as in why is it like a revolving door at Arkham? Well, they get lowered sentences. Again, once they prove their sanity, sometimes they're out there, sometimes they escape, and again, it's like it's like a tourist trap in Gotham, with the exception of the Joker, who was murdering people and doing terrible things. Everyone else is like, it's like, hey, the Riddler robbed this place, so he can cash in on his image. Like we'll sell Riddler merch. We'll do that sort of stuff. Like we can brand these guys. This episode's a little bit about the branding. Kind of the branding and celebrity culture of the villains literalized, and that like have them going on talk shows and everything. It's like a literalization of that kind of that concept, and I love that.
I thought that this show culminated so well. This episode specifically. Like, I thought it built very well, getting on Tawny, setting it up in the beginning, finishing there. We've already seen the show in a prior episode, so we have that set up. So, yeah, I everything you're saying. Jeffy John, you're pissing me off with your comments, bro. You guys are screwing me over. We're talking, so we'll get to your comment when we get to it, so I'm sorry. That's the way live streams work. We're going to try and incorporate you as much as we can. We're all love, but when you say things like screw you guys, screw you, Jeffy John. I don't care if you're a kid. Let's see here. So, talking more. I'm just kidding, Jeffy John. Please. I love you so much. Please keep listening to my stream. You're the best. Anyway, my thoughts on this episode overall, and then we'll get Tiki's here, are I've kind of said my piece a little bit, but just to elaborate, because I haven't done a reaction video finally on this episode, is as I was watching it, I was getting into the storyline of like starting off with the heist. Am I also correct in the King Shark joins in this episode? Yes, because
King Shark is introduced the whole media thing. Yeah.
So let's talk about him for just a hot second. King Shark is great. I love King Shark in this show so far.
You know the comedian who plays him?
I know who Ron Funches is. He's a big wrestling fan. I've heard him on some podcasts. I've never watched his comedy, though, but he's killing it as this character.
I love Ron Funches so much. He does voice work, and this is just perfect. He
seems like a nice guy. Like when, I have a note written down. I need a full episode of King Shark in prison. Like, that was so good.
There's some fun King Shark stuff coming in season 2.
Good. He's great. So I want to definitely point him out. I also want to point out Jason Alexander. I think this is where we start pulling him.
Yeah, he's at the end of the
landlord.
Episode. Yeah.
So yeah, overall my first impressions on this episode, I thought it was a fun premise. It built very well, introducing the Robin, even though it's not the Robin we love or are familiar with, or I was. It was still a fun evolution of what is this character. Batman's in this episode, but also this is where I discovered it was Diedrich Bader, so it kind of ruined it for me. But that's my piece. You guys, Tiki, Dragon?
I don't know. I don't have much to say that hasn't already been said about this. I just think that the Robin stuff in particular is really fun. How how Harley is just aiming for a badass villain, and Robin is just like, no, it's me. I want to fight Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
That's just such a great runner, and it just kind of goes throughout the whole episode, and that's kind of like the main sticking point to me about the episode. And of course, by the end of the episode with King Shark, the gang is fully founded, which is great, and means that going forward, we're really gonna get to start to see what this show has to offer, full blast. So I will admit, I think this episode is as fun as it is. It is another kind of stepping stone episode. I think episode 5 is when the gang really gets together and we really get to explore the series. But this is still
Frankie Muniz.
Frankie Muniz.
If this were on So You Want to Be an Imagineers channel, the last line would be that. But it's not, so we're going to do it all day.
Frankie
Muniz. All right, Dragon, your thoughts?
Right, Frankie Muniz for doing something like that in 2020.
Oh, Frankie Muniz is a killer. They just reread the pilot of Malcolm in the Middle on Zoom.
Yeah, they've been doing that a lot lately with shows.
Yeah, it's kind of disgusting. All right, keep going.
So again, this episode I think it has there's tremendous high points. Again, my one quibble with the Robin thing. I mean, it's a quibble, and it gets the point though. It's like we're having an unimpressive Robin. I mean, honestly, for me, the moment where just call him Damian Wayne all you want, you just want use the generic kid Robin, is the moment he gets wedgied by Harley Quinn. It's like, okay, the kid's a trained assassin. Like, come on. But outside of that, I mean, King Shark, MVP of the episode. He's the tech savvy eating machine. It's the age old question. King Shark always works no matter what you do with him. He killed it on Flash. He's in the Assault on Arkham thing, and he's wonderful. He's going to be in the James Gunn Suicide Squad. He's going to be in the new Suicide Squad game.
I'm excited to see a live action King Shark. Hands down, sure. That sounds great.
Again, if you want to see him in live action on TV, you got Flash. You want to see him in live action with James Gunn.
Seen it. I want to see it by James Gunn. I've seen Grant Gustin next.
I tell you, I saw like one image of him. He looks fantastic.
My poor cat, when I screamed next, was like, "What the fuck?" I was like,
poor Vincent.
Toy. Oh my God, Tiki! You always say you don't have much to say, but then you do. You're an anomaly.
You know what, Toy? You're calling me out, and I appreciate it. Yeah, it's absolutely a fact. It's absolutely one of my.
I love that she called it out. That's great.
Yeah.
That makes me laugh.
Go-to defenses with podcasting is like, well, I don't have much to say, but
don't have much to say. Here I go for 10 minutes.
Right, so
you're like, I love it when it's just you two though, and he's like, I don't have much to say, and I can just hear Dragon Silence saying, it's just me and you, right? So one of us has to say something.
Yep. Yep. I need the other paddle, or else the ball's not going to go anywhere.
That's it. All right. So I'm so sorry. All right, Dragon.
Yeah, so King Shark, just again, I love how, it's always the question, how do you make King Shark better? Because he already has an instant appeal. It's like, he's a giant shark, it's just a giant walking shark on land. How can you get better? Okay, we make him talk. Okay, how do we get even better than that? Okay, we go against type, where instead of being a big tough guy, he's Ron Funches just killing it as the tech-savvy guy who happens to be a giant shark. And we could do the Nemo blood thing with it's like Bruce the Shark, which is that's I mean, of course, I think as Wade Carrington said recently, again, with his Pixar comment, men don't cry, they don't get leaked. They only leak during Pixar movies. I mean, how can you get killed with it? Get a little Pixar reference now and again.
Oh, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Men don't cry. Men leak at Pixar movies.
They're my new favorite JGI line, by the way.
I would dude, I need to send you guys a video of the Erase Away Kickstarter, and that is the birth of Wade Carrington. Because even though I'm not doing Wade Carrington, I'm doing Wade Carrington.
Oh,
it was Wade Carrington before Wade Carrington existed.
Send that. We'll watch
I will.
It, yes.
But before we do, let's give Jeffy John some love because he's been slacking and contemplating bad thoughts. Jeffy John, Tiki, do you like getting called out on the spot like that?
I just like the attention.
Of course you do. Of course you do, you little fucking whore. You spotlight whore.
Yeah, he's in the spotlight, I'm in the shadows. So,
hey, you guys are center stage. This ain't, what's that guy you guys, I listened to one of the episodes you guys went on. DJ Qualls. No, what is his name? Oh my God, what is his fucking name, dude? He has like a live stream where he talks topics on comics and.
Wait, the Captain Logan show?
Captain Logan. There.
Oh, you mean Captain? You think DJ Martina? You think Captain DJ?
There we go. Okay.
Martin
Here we go.
Yeah,
Captain Logan. I'm saying you guys are front and center, baby.
Yeah.
All right, so Jeffy John also asked, I'm scrolling up so we can get, who's your favorite superhero? Starting
Spider-Man.
with his favorite, Tiki. You say Spider-Man?
I say Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the only superhero who I've followed via the comics. He's the first hero I fell in love with the comics. Of course, the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy is just a fundamental part of my development as a superhero fan. Spider-Man for sure.
Who's your favorite live action? Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield?
Toby all the way.
Really?
Toby all the way, no question.
Dude,
no question.
Another pimp plug for The Devil All the Time is Tom Holland. Great job.
Look, I like Tom Holland. I do, but for me, writing is where Tom Holland falls off for me. He does a great job. I just think that the writing on the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies are a little bit too tongue-in-cheek, whereas Tobey Maguire definitely had the pathos.
Of
And I
course,
appreciate
when
the pathos when it
I
comes
I
to Peter
totally
Parker.
agree with you. When Tobey Maguire was like infested with that alien symbiote and he was dancing down the street, perfection. Blue Dragon 5, what is your favorite superhero?
I mean, without question, we're just talking superheroes specifically. It's Batman. It's got to be. A lot of good choices, but I mean, come on.
Hello. I'm Batman. Oh, wait, actually, I don't have that mask you hate. Daryl Delaney still has it, so I can't put it on.
I'm so pleased
but
with that.
I will, for all of you who know this reference, say it right now. Gwen Benavides.
That's right. That was an appropriate use of that credit.
Dude, honestly, that might be one of my favorite sketches I've ever made, and it was just me.
And again, think about how limited you were, and look at what you turned out.
I am working in the sense of gathering footage and interviews on a JGI at Home documentary because I wanna. We have so much bonus footage on the Zooms, especially for those sketches. But I'm trying to gather the footage of like all of us filming on our own, like setting up. Like I'm asking everybody like to send me like what they have of setting up the cameras and stuff because it was ordeal to say the least, and it would be fun to express all of those goings-ons. Even the fact of like HBO Max, nobody was filmed together. Those were all separate people. Nobody was on the same call. It's crazy. Yeah. So,
that's insane.
Anyway, let's see here. So I hope you got your love, Jeffy John. My favorite superhero, very hard. I want to almost say the Joker, but
you feel counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking White Knight.
No, I'm talking my Joker. He is a hero. He,
Well, he's a hero comparatively, so. Sure.
Of course. When he's hanging out with my man Daryl. Yeah.
Lady Daryl, my old
dude. Daryl's my old lady Daryl. Oh, I love that line. That was so great. I was so proud of that. I was like, my old lady Daryl.
I swear to you, just recently, I just been thinking about that line in terms of like all the.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely say it's honestly a mixture between the two you chose. Batman and Spider-Man have always been my favorites.
They're my top two heroes, I gotta be honest.
Never been a fan of Superman. Like in the sense of like being a favorite, he's too cookie cutter. The same way as like Dragon Ball Z. I love Goku, but you're a
Vegeta's
pussy.
so much fun.
You're such a pussy, Goku. Yeah. Vegeta is awesome. Adult Trunks is probably my favorite, but Vegeta a close second. Gohan sucks to everybody who loves Gohan, especially when he becomes an adult. Dude, adult Gohan ruined the character of Gohan.
I disagree.
I agree.
Ruined it. You know what? If you guys ever want to do a Dragon Ball Z
Gohan
podcast on every episode, I'll join you.
I might have to take you up on that offer.
All 536 episodes. Let's go. Let's see here. I don't even know what you were gonna say, Toy. No, that's what I was gonna say. Not fair. That the joke is
I'd like to answer Jeffy's question about my favorite Spider-Man comic, if you will.
Okay, yeah, I'll click it and I'll let you answer, Tiki, please.
Yeah, my favorite Spider-Man comic ever is The Night Gwen Stacy Died. I just think that comic is just absolutely just ripe with tension. You have the whole not only do you have the obvious thing, which is Gwen Stacy actually dying, but you have Norman Osborn figuring out Spider-Man's identity and then using that. And just, oh my God. And just the way that Gwen Stacy's death impacted Peter Parker in the comics. So, yeah, Gwen Stacy's death, absolutely. Just the issue it happened in and then the arc kind of surrounding it is absolutely my favorite Spider-Man moment.
All right. Okay, favorite Spider-Man comic. Oh yeah, easily. That's an easy one. Actually, I own my Dream Spider-Man comic. The first appearance of the Kingpin, Spider-Man No More.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got it last year at the Comic-Con, so the last Comic-Con for a while it seems. But yeah, it was like I finally was able to get my Dream comic. I felt so happy about it. So
Yeah. All right.
And I've never read a Spider-Man comic in my life.
It's all good.
So, okay. Let's move on to episode 5, guys. Unless we have more questions that I haven't seen.
One thing that Toy mentioned that relates to the episode we should talk about before moving.
Okay, please. What is it? Which comment so I can highlight it?
It was the one about the Diedrich Bader and the sandwich and the whole tech stuff. It's the whole Nemesis chat, 1244.
Okay, let me see here. Wow. I love that you said 1244, and I'm like, and I have to look at 944 because it says 944 on mine.
Sorry.
No, it's great. Oh my God. Let me raise, hold on, Toy. Let me raise my chair. God almighty. Holy shit. Hold on, let me get above this comment. This
is why I just shouted her out, because I figured this would block things.
Toy, God almighty. Holy shit. Okay. Batman told Damian a secret. He didn't get his first nemesis. Oh, yeah, this was a great scene.
Yes.
I liked it. Yeah.
Okay,
this was where... Go ahead.
My favorite part of all this, I don't think it made the comment. It's the lead into the kind of the Nemesis sex talk of it all, and this is where DJ Beer is doing it for me. He's doing like the hysterical Brave and the Bold style, like taking the material straight, but we get to play around with it because of this world. As I made your favorite, Alfred made that. I made him make it, which that's priceless. That's what I'm saying. Only Diedrich Bader could get away with that. That's fantastic.
It's like he doesn't even miss a beat. Like, yes, Alfred,
yes.
I made Alfred, yes.
It was good, but imagine a 100% serious Kevin Conroy saying, I made him make it. Like, it would have hit you harder, I promise.
Yeah, I gotta tell you something about Conroy. I adore Kevin Conroy, but you know what? This is the truth no one ever talks about Kevin Conroy.
Whoa, that he doesn't have a comedy bone in his body?
No, that's not my point at all. My point is, one of the reasons
kind of.
Thanks. No, my point... No, my point is that Kevin Conroy, over the years, the reason he's kind of risen to such a monolithic status with the character and the performance is Andrea Romano, the voice director. She always got the best out of Conroy. And there have been a few projects where Conroy, again, the Arkham games being the exception, I feel, because those continue kind of the animated series vibe as well as, again, kind of like the story, I think, kind of brings out the performance and then the gravity. But sometimes, depending on the voice director, the performance, like Kevin Conroy, if you asked him at a convention or something, you just had like Kevin Conroy doing the voice on the fly without like, lines and like kind of coaching and sort of like, the prepared, kind of getting him into the headspace of the performance. Sometimes it's not going to have the same heft that it did with what everyone remembers with Conroy. And because of that, sometimes when he might be playing comedy, like that's why I'm not 100% sold on like, even if you had Conroy in the situation, I don't know if it would play necessarily the way you might think it does. But I don't know. Maybe a devil's advocate thing. I don't know.
No. That's a great point, Dragon, because I can see just from the entertainment industry of Kevin Conroy dealing with a voiceover director who's like this is a new project. Kevin Conroy's been playing Batman for 20 plus years. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to tell him how to do his job. Exactly. I'm going to press record. And I'm going to say, and like that's it. I'm going to put a thumbs up on the window and we're good. Like I'm not going to give him any notes. 0 notes, Kevin. Perfect. We're taking lunch. That's 5. But yeah, I totally get that. Toy wanted us to follow up with her comment by, how do you hear a bat signal? I want to follow up. I loved when he took away the bat signal from Commissioner Gordon. And I don't think that's this episode. But I'm just talking about the bat signal. When he folded it up, I was like, oh, wow. Great fucking episode. So what is she talking about? How do you hear the bat signal? Is that a line he says?
Yeah, when he quickly, when Damien just kind of, they had this whole subtext is like, hey, it's doing the sex talk about a nemesis, and my nemesis till I was 20, doing the year one stuff, where he says, hey, Dad, when can I have sex? And he's, exactly. Unless you're talking about the Batman, you don't hear the bat signal, kids.
Well, Toy, you answered your own question. How do you hear a bat signal? It's obviously Batman not wanting to answer that question. We're going to move on to episode 5, but we have comments flying in, so let's get to these before we do, because we'll get detracted. Paloma says, do you have another favorite villain other than Joker? I was the only one who answered Joker, so let's get y'all's favorite villain overall. Right now, go ahead. Let's start off with Blue.
I love Bane.
Oh, okay. You simply adopted the Bane. I was born in
Yes. I can't say no to a good Dark Knight Rises parody, man. I just can't.
Dude, just that line of "I was molded by it, born in it," like that. That is the line of Bane. Molded by it, born in it. Oh no, it's I flip that. Born in it, molded by it. Yeah.
Remember that great line is during that whole fight sequence is still the best part of that movie. It's such a thrilling sequence.
I need to rewatch Dark Knight Rises. I think I've only seen it once. I need to go back to that movie so fast. But let me see here. Dragon, what's your favorite villain, my friend? Joker.
I wish you specified a little bit here, but I mean, it's if we're talking
let me pause you. Is Joker your favorite?
Joker easily is my favorite.
Okay,
so that's that thing. So
cool.
So you're talking others. I mean, if we're just talking DC, then I gotta tell you, I adore the Reverse Flash in the Flash show. Every time he shows up, I get so giddy. It's like, oh my god, it's the Reverse Flash. The Reverse Flash and Kingpin from the Daredevil. Honestly, Kingpin, Reverse Flash are my go-tos. But if we're talking Batman specifically, I mean, I really love when Ra's al Ghul shows up. So Joker, then probably Roush. If we're talking like just within the Harley Quinn show, I mean, it's again, it's kind of hard to top Bane in terms of just having so much fun with them. I mean, yeah.
Okay, and Tiki, you're saying Bane. That's your official answer?
That's my official answer, man. At least in terms of this show.
Okay. Yeah. My favorite villain overall, outside of the Joker, man, God Almighty, I would probably say Vegeta. And it's not a comic book, but I would say Vegeta is my favorite villain.
Well, it's a manga, so it kind of counts.
Yeah, but I mean, just the complexity of that character, his evolution, him being a true villain. Like, whether you take someone like the Punisher or, like anybody who's the hero who can be the anti-hero who, like, does what needs to be done to get it done. Like, I love that. So that's why I've never liked Batman. I'm like, fucking kill. I'm done with you. I just kill them.
Always a bloodthirsty
Be done with
bunch.
them. Kill them!
Oh, God.
You would love the Red Hood. That's your guy's got to be the Red Hood.
You
gotta read that Joker story recently.
What the hell is a Vegeta? Vegeta's from Dragon Ball Z, Jeffy John. Go watch Dragon Ball Z. It's better.
Are you
it's
serious?
Better than Harley Quinn the animated series, I promise you.
Well, I don't endorse that, but it's damn good in its own cheesy 90s way.
You know what? If you want to do Harley Quinn the animated series versus Dragon Ball Z on your next debates, I would gladly wipe the floor with whatever poor fucking soul you choose to come before me. Because it would be a slaughtering. There's a moment in Dragon Ball Z where Vegeta kills an android and says, "Nobody kills Kakarot while I'm around. Destiny has reserved that pleasure for me." And that alone, that line, that character arc, that relationship has more depth than anything this show can even dream to touch. So I'm sorry.
The arc of Vegeta is fantastic.
Amazing. Bulma? Oh my god. That's my Bulma!
You know what? Okay, you know what bothers me about Super? I've now finished Super after hearing everyone talk. See, I'm the most stubborn Dragon Ball fan ever. Because I used to be a purist.
I haven't finished Super. Don't spoil anything.
Oh, I won't. Okay, don't worry about it. What I'm saying is, I loved Dragon Ball as a kid, and I was like, nothing's ever gonna beat this. And of course, eventually, it's like when you realize, when I get to the end of Dragon Ball, like, oh yeah, it kind of leads into Dragon Balls. It's continuing. It's not just like a replay. It's like, okay, then of course, the same thing. Then eventually GT, and anyway, so of course, Super, it's the same thing. Where it looks, I don't know how this is gonna work. Then I finally watch it, and it's like, I really dug it. I gotta tell you one thing though, in the beginning of the whole thing, way like literally right before the whole "That's my Bulma" thing, Beerus, the whole idea. I love the idea that Beerus has a history with King Vegeta, but it kind of hurts me to see just Vegeta is all kowtow. And I know it's funny, but it's like how because he really abused his father. And I don't see how Vegeta gets past. He humiliated his father. Now he's humiliating Vegeta. It's kind of sad.
I think that what I took away from that. Sorry to detract from all you Harley fans, but I think what I took away from that is what they intended, in the sense of like, Vegeta. You've known Vegeta for so long. You know how prideful he is. So for him to subject himself to this shows you how powerful Beerus is. That's
another way of looking at it too is he cares about his family.
I mean, I just took away from it, like, yes, he does care about his family. He always has. But this is a point where every other position he's been put in to defend his family, he would just kill that person. This is him recognizing, I can't kill that person. This is my only option.
Yeah.
So took away from that. But whoa. Dragon Ball D tier, Harley Quinn S tier. What the fuck does that even mean? What? Michael Faulkner, please explain yourself. Do you guys know what he's talking about?
Well, I assume D tier is not good. S tier, I assume, is worse, but I don't really know.
I mean, D tier, Dragon Ball tier. I don't know.
Like D lister, so I'm assuming D tier is like a tier alphabetically lower. So I don't know.
Right. No, yeah, I would hope you guys make a podcast fun. Thank you, Jeffy John. And I would
like to think so.
Your Green Lantern. I hope that's for Ryan Reynolds. R.I.P. that movie. S is the best tier. Michael, dude, Dragon Ball's better than Harley Quinn, bro. I mean, it's just there's no question about that in my mind. The only reason I haven't made anything Dragon Ball related is because I don't have the ability to special effects wise.
It's not easily done if you want to do it right. It's
right.
I mean,
exactly.
the whole Dragon Ball Evolution was a train wreck, but still, it's a tall order as is.
Yeah,
the movie didn't have a prayer.
You need the boys' budget to make a Dragon Ball series right. Damn right. Anyway, let's get back to Harley Quinn. Sorry about all the Dragon Ball talk. Yeah. You guys just asked me what my favorite villain was, and I couldn't help but say what it is. It's Vegeta. So let's get back to Harley Quinn, and let's go to episode 5, which is being Harley Quinn. So it's perfectly said. Let's see here. Go to my branding banners, and there we go. So, being Harley Quinn, Harley's crew has to enter her mind to save her. I had a lot of problems with this episode.
Okay, what did you got?
So let me go ahead and start off with my biggest problem with this episode is the fact that anytime you do an episode of television where you're entering a mind, and it's funny that we were just talking about Dragon Ball Z because I was planning to bring up Dragon Ball Z when we got to this episode. Whenever they enter the mind of Boo, for example, in Dragon Ball Z, and, anytime you enter anyone's mind in an animated series, usually is where that happens, you have too many options. So almost always you fail. Almost always it's not satisfying. So I'm very curious as to think of what you guys thought of this episode.
Yeah, this is basically we're looking for layers and we're exploring Harley's mind. This one, I love that Harley and company, they're looking within to kind of determine what is driving the season 1 goals. They're asking the big questions, like basically Harley's kind of redefining her origin this episode. I like the episode. I'll admit, I think the episode can only go so far. It's not my favorite, especially given where we go with 6, because 6 is, it's probably my favorite of the whole season.
Yeah.
But also for personal reasons, I adore 6. How could I not like 6 is the best? But But yeah, five's kind of, it's a bit of a placeholder. Basically, it's to reestablish, okay, here are her goals for the season. She's going to redefine her origin. She's basically yet another arc in like getting away from the Joker, and that her origin isn't, well, basically the new 52 version of Mad Love where she jumps in the chemicals. Well, the point being, it's like her new origin is when she kicks the crap out of the Joker and she's out on her own. That's the whole point of the episode, and that's, in that respect, I like where it goes, and it's just like, hey, we're going inside the mind. We have some fun Munez gags, and it's pretty funny. I like Cyborgman was kind of the star of the episode too. He was really
good. Okay, Tiki, what do you think, bro?
Tiki.
So what I thought is, I agree with you in the sense of like picking up on the fact that the crew is a lot more. We're finally fully established, and it's a very great episode for the crew. But in the sense of the whole, I guess I was just disappointed in where they went when they're inside Harley's mind. I'm like, this could have been the craziest fucking episode we've ever seen. There's just too much potential. So as a writer, as a creator, when I see the opportunity that's in front of me by, you're going into Harley Quinn's mind? So that kind of just lacked for me a little bit. I get what you're saying of redefining her origin story, and I appreciated that. Like, okay, this is the Harley we have now. She has to make the choice of seeing the fact that she was following the Joker. She wasn't forced into it. She's actually a little crazy and needs to like deal with her own shit. Yes, I appreciated that. I was just disappointed at the like base level of when they're exploring inside her mind and how basic it was, how limited they chose to use like the way they were exploring it and what a mind works when you're inside of it. It's just like they could have had so much more fun than I felt they had.
Yeah, they doubled down on the whole like crazy Harley, like the crazy young Harley gremlin things.
Yeah, exactly. So
and I hear you.
Yeah. So if for that being the case, that's where I came to the conclusion of, okay, I like the episode, but I have a lot of problems with it, and just like I would have just tackled it completely differently. And this is maybe in the sense of like how I was feeling about the show, like, they're taking on the mantle of the comedy and approach to these characters that I would have taken. This is one instance where it's like, no, they dropped the ball completely, and I'm not happy with where they took this story. So that's at least my personal take from it. Kite Man Proxy Riots says, is he in this episode?
Wait a minute. No, I don't think so. I think the date is no, it's not yet. No.
Okay. Let me see here. So yeah. So why don't you go ahead and give me your overall thoughts on this, brother?
Yeah.
I mean, final thoughts. Like I know you kind of touched on it, but yeah.
Yeah, well, final thoughts are again. It's more of like I like the absurdity of the cyborg. I mean, the ticking clock of the episode's quite fun. I think that really kind of buys back the dream element of it all. We're like, oh god, he's gonna fry our bodies, and Dr. Psycho's freaking out about that. He's like, we gotta get out of here. And Cyborg also he was a pull from the New 52. He was from the whole premise of the show. So that's where all that's from. And Borgman, I think he was really well realized as Jason Alexander. And of course, we get a lot of details about his background stuff as we go further. Josh, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of crazy fun.
Oh, nice.
I mean, overall, it's like the whole we're playing by Elm Street rules. I like the references to all the dream stuff that we've had before. That's fun. I mean, overall, it has its fun bits. I mean, yeah, it's one I would skip over if I were going through them again, which I kind of, in retrospect, I probably would have skipped over certain details of this one, but, it is what it is. It's fine enough. I usually use, like, the Pixar diamond philosophy for a lot of things. Like, when Lee Unkrich was editing Tom Hanks in Toy Story, there was like all gems, like all fantastic takes. It could have used any one of them. Sometimes like a little smudged diamond. That's like, someone has to go at the bottom. Someone has to hold up the bottom of the totem pole. This is probably it's not terrible. Just like it's the weak link.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I felt like this was one of the weakest episodes I saw. I don't know why our Harley Quinn, where did the
Yeah, I
screensaver
don't. I
go?
think
Let's see.
something's.
Here we go. Boom, boom, gang,
There we
gang.
go.
There it is. Wow, if I minimize it, it doesn't appear. Craziness. Let me see here. Proxy Ria to saying I still have to finish season 1. Me too. We're gonna stop at 6. We only have 1 episode left to cover, and then we're gonna continue on the next half. We've been diving into it explicitly. Jeffy John says, in Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn said, if you try to run away, I will kill you. I do not care that you were a kid. That was you a few moments ago to yourself from my lens. Oh, nice. Got it. Yeah, I don't care if you're a kid. I'll kill you. Harley Quinn will kill a kid. My Joker will kill a kid. It's inevitable. Let me see here. I don't know who you're talking about. He's a poor man's Deadpool. Do you know who he's talking about, Dragon?
Poor man's Deadpool.
Who's a poor man's Deadpool? Toy, let us know. Do you think Harley Quinn and Ivy will ever get together? Now, Jeffy John, you're saying that. I haven't seen season 2. Are we saying that they still have not gotten together by the end of season 2? Dragon, spoiler alert.
I don't want to give anything away, you know. We're gonna explore the relationship further in a big way, and we're gonna homage some of the animated series with Harley and Ivy. I'll say that much. There's a big nod to the Harley and Ivy episode from the animated series coming up in season 2. I'll say that much.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, get your questions in. We appreciate everyone who's been listening to our stream this entire time. We're running a little long, going on 2 hours here, but we've been dissecting the first half of season 1 of Harley Quinn, having some fun with some questions from you guys in the comments. Pretty sure Tiki's gone to Betty Bye, so we'll hopefully catch up with him next time around. And me and Dragon are going to move on to the final episode that we're going to talk about, which is episode 6, which is an amazing episode. Holy shit. You're a damn good cop, Jim Gordon. And let me go ahead and get the right graphic up on screen as well. Here we go, baby. When I first even saw the graphic, I got excited about this episode, and I was like, oh, no, I need to wait till I'm, like, ready to just fully give this my attention, because it just seemed like such a powerhouse of an episode with even that title. So, Dragon, please, what were your thoughts on your damn good cop, Jim Gordon?
See, you'll notice... You might have noticed I have not talked about Commissioner Gordon that much in our conversation as of yet.
Yes, I did notice that, actually.
That is because I was waiting to get to this episode, because Commissioner Gordon is, I think, one of the greatest supporting characters of fiction. I love Commissioner Gordon so much. He's one of my all-time favorites. Again, like, Batman's obviously the favorite hero. I'm just saying I live for the scenes in Batman of any variety of the Batman-Gordon meeting scene on the rooftop or in the office where he pulls the bat exit on him. I live for it. I do. So this episode, and again, that's why the first episode is a little touch and go, because basically I was sifting out the tone where you kind of realize, okay, so this show we're definitely not taking it. We're definitely not taking it straightforward, doing the irreverent thing where it's like the logical stuff sets in. Like, how would Gordon respond to all the bad exits and all, like, him popping in on him and all the chaos in Gotham and all the crap that the Joker's done to him over the years? How would a man respond? Because Gordon's always been a stress of nerves. He's always been like he's a chain smoker. He's always had all these problems and everything. And we kind of give voice to it in a really great over the top way. So once I reconciled the tone, we get to this episode, I'm blown away by it. And if I were unsold in any elements, I was like, oh my god, this is fantastic. And we have Chris Maloney playing Jim Gordon.
Yes. I was blown away when I discovered that. That was like the opposite of my Dietrich Bader discovery. I was like, oh, yeah, let's go.
I have a question for you, Josh. Have you seen the show Happy?
I haven't. I've heard of it, but I've watched in passing a ton of SVU with my dad. So that's where I know this guy. Also, I believe he was in Superman. Was he a Man of Steel?
He is a Man of Steel. Here's the thing. Chris Maloney's had a history with the DC Universe at large. He's popped up here and there. Again, he's in Man of Steel. He's done a voice. He did the voice of Green Lantern, one of the animated movies. So,
nice. Okay.
Maloney, he's in a lot of things. He did a voice on Rick and Morty this season. He's in the Story Train episode. He's the main guy telling the story to him. Okay. Anyway, so here's the thing. Chris Maloney, again, here's the thing. If you liked if you liked him in this as Commissioner Gordon as a series whole, which given your live reactions, I think is the case.
Of course. Here we go.
You gotta watch him in Happy, because Happy is essentially the whole clay arm buddy relationship as a 2-season series.
Oh, I know what Happy. It's about an imaginary friend. Is that right?
Imaginary friend who's the girl that the imaginary friend belongs to has been kidnapped. And he seeks out the girl's father, who she's never met, which is Chris Maloney, being hilarious, by the way, because we built him up as like the SVU cop for all these years. And Chris Maloney, he's comedically brilliant. He's fantastic, and you get to explore that with this. And he's Patton Oswalt does the voice of Happy. That's the character's name, the little imaginary friend. Happy, nice. He's a happy horse, that whole thing. So, and each season has a holiday theme. First season is Christmas, which is the novel that it's based on a comic. It's only Christmas, and the show is so good they did their own continuation of it with an Easter season as season 2.
Wow! So the whole second season is about Easter.
That's funny. It's about Easter.
Wow. No, I've heard of that show, and I loved it. And so what we're talking about, if you're just joining us, is the actor who plays Commissioner Jim Gordon, and he is in a show called Happy, where he is the voice of the main character. Actually, Patton Oswalt is the voice of the main character, Happy. And then, what is his name? Chris Maloney?
Chris Maloney, yes.
Is the voice of the actual live-action actor. But in here, he's the voice. So, dude, yeah, I need to check out that show. That sounds awesome. I've also never checked out the show, what is it, with Elijah Wood, where he has, like, an imaginary friend? Oh, my God.
I'm not
There's
sure.
another show very similar to what you just described as Happy, with Elijah Wood with like an imaginary friend for several seasons. Sorry about that.
I remember Jenna Elfman had a show like that, but I don't know about this Elijah Wood one.
I'm going to Google it because it's going to kill me. Imaginary friend. Let's see here. Wilfred.
Oh, okay. I remember the title now. I'm a little fuzzy on the details. But
Wilfred,
I remember there was like a Wilfred.
So it's like a guy in a dog outfit or a bunny outfit, and he's a real guy, but he's
okay. That's it now. I'm thinking right. Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, so it's not animated; it's like a live action.
Yeah. I remember it now. Now you bring it up. Yeah. They know it was like the guy in the suit thing. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, so that's Wilfred. Okay, so you're a damn good cop, Jim Gordon. Let's talk about this episode. Let's dissect it a little bit here. One of my favorite episodes outside, probably season 2, this episode were my favorites, and the pilot, out of what I've seen so far. And dude, Jim Gordon's so funny. Like, Toy is asking, my understanding of it was this series took place after Barbara was shot by Joker, whatever that show is called. And I thought I heard or read that Jim is cuckoo because of that. Is that so? I am going to let you answer that completely, Dragon, please.
All right. Well, I think the show she's referring to is, I think she's thinking of the Killing Joke story, which has been adapted into an anime movie, which everyone always comes down on, which, yes, there's a problem with that movie, but once they get into the Killing Joke stuff, I will stand behind it. No matter what, everyone coming down around it. Just the Batgirl stuff does stink in that movie. But anyway, the idea too is like Gordon, Joker tried to drive Gordon to the point of madness in the Killing Joke story. And I mean, I think they're kind of alluding to that, but let me put it, I don't want to give too much away. I don't think that happened, given season 2. He explored Jim Gordon's life a little bit more in season 2. We talked about him having a wife this season, and this episode, the whole like he treats his wife like a queen in the bedroom, and then she just doesn't reciprocate at all. So I think I don't think that's the case, Toy. I mean, it could be. Oh wait, sorry, Toy. Give me a second. No, this is not. I know for a fact. No, it's not the case at all. I just remembered season 2. Yeah, no, it's not the case at all. But they knew the Killing Joke thing. Just ordinarily, all the other terrible stuff Joker's done is probably driven a little crazy on the edge of madness, but he tried to drive him insane, Killing Joke. All it takes is one bad day to drive the sanest man crazy, being the point of all that. Anyway.
Okay, so it's not
right,
not the same base.
Yeah, it's not. It's not all the case with this show.
Got it. Okay. So that being said, okay, so let's start dissecting this episode. It goes into such a good dichotomy of the relationship between Batman and Jim Gordon, their history. I love the moment where Batman's like, my screensaver just popped on, didn't it?
Okay, that is my favorite moment ever. I love, because here's the thing. I was on the edge of my seat with the episode because again, I love the Batman Gordon friendship. We've been building up this thing in the show where Gordon's inviting him to a barbecue and he says no, and he's like, oh, and I'm saying no. And because again, I live for those like little moments of friendship. I adore the ending of Batman Begins and all those little moments in Dark Knight and all. Anyway, so when we have this, so later on, it's the idea that it's reciprocated, but Batman, it's like we're just co-workers, but why does he have the screensaver? It's like he admits it, like, yeah, he's the only friend he really has outside. Alfred's the father figure, Gordon's the friend. That's how it goes.
That makes me also ask you a follow-up question. Do we see Alfred ever in the show?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Not this season.
I'm looking forward to it. Okay, great. No, I was just wondering. I was like, oh yeah, we haven't seen Alfred yet. No, I loved that moment of.
You played Alfred.
That's
wonderfully. True. I loved your little take on Alfred too, at least so much.
Oh dear. Daryl Delaney, he killed it, man. He was great, dude. He had that whole thing in his mind, and honestly, I will admit, my portrayal of Alfred make him step up the entire rest of the sketch. So where he was like, oh, okay, great, we have to do this full out, let's go. Like, Josh has a real mustache, let's go.
It was a good call. You looked great.
No, I appreciate you. But yeah, so anyway, Alfred, I'm excited to see him when he pops up, but I was curious of not seeing him. Anyway, what I was saying though is just, I love just all the moments in this episode where Batman taking the bat signal away, folding it up. I thought that was just, I was just like, oh my God, what? Like, what a choice to make him fold it. Like, that's just, that's comic gold. Like, he could have just, all right, let's just rip it off or something, but he's like, like, that was so great. And yeah, like you said, yeah.
It just yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say, so we skipped over completely when we were talking about episode 5 because we had said it so many times, but Frankie Muniz! And Clayface is such a huge part of this, losing his hand and the whole hand montage. I'm like, oh, great. So this is them ripping off the Danny Boy montage. Love it. I was like, why are they playing any sport? Why are they playing a sport right now? That's crazy. They have no reason to play a sport unless they've seen the Joker and Danny play football.
I think that's the greatest compliment, though. Again, like those guys, Halper and Schumacher.
I take it as a compliment until I see a live-action Powerpuff Girls series greenlit. Meaning I'm not getting paid, brother. So compliments all day. I need my bank account to be complimented.
That's fair.
I don't know if you just saw Kelsey Prabilski just got ripped off with her podcast. She has a podcast called Gawkward that talks about like awkward teenage years in the 90s, 2000s.
Yeah.
And a wrestler, she's 30 episodes deep. A wrestler named Alexa Bliss is literally about to start a podcast called Awkward with Alexa Bliss. And it's exactly like based on the exact same framework. The branding's similar. She has a shelf filled with 90s, 2000s stuff like Kelsey has in her podcast. It's just eerily similar. And so she's like kind of on a campaign like, I got ripped off, even if you guys aren't aware it is, and this podcast will probably be more popular than my show. So that's the problem. I'm not getting paid, and my original idea is now going to be looked at as an original idea by a famous person. So that's where that kind of comes in, you know?
Yeah. We brought up Prabilski on the Buttman recap.
Oh, I'm sorry. Uncool. I do love Alexa Bliss, Jeffy John. It's called Uncool with Alexa Bliss. My bad. Thank you, Jeffy John. Appreciate you. Go check out Gawkward. I love Alexa Bliss. I love WWE. But, you know, Vince McMahon's an asshole, and they ripped off my friend's podcast. So, let's see here. Toy Gaming says, Lex Luthor, I missed this whole conversation. Lex Luthor does kill, yet because Superman wouldn't kill, he is again and again thrown into jail, sort of like the Batman and Joker. I don't know why they have to put Lex not so evil. I miss? Let me see.
Okay.
What are they talking about?
Yeah, you haven't gotten. Well, you kind of saw a very brief glimpse. Did you? Basically, we've just gotten the 6. Just want to be clear. Like we're Capping at 6 is where we're at.
Capping at 6. We're stopping
That's
at 6.
why I just want to be clear.
To clarify to, I think it was Paloma who asked, or Proxy Riots. Let me see. Proxy had a perfect comment that was saying, here we go. So season 1 is 13 episodes. We do plan to do the next 7 next time, and we're going to figure that out. It'll either be this weekend or sometime next week. So look out for that, guys. Thank you all to joining on this podcast, let alone we've been 2.5 hours on 6 episodes. So I feel like we have enough to talk about, more so than enough. Anyway, yes, so we're capping at 6. What were you going to say, Dragon?
Well, yeah, I was going to say is that, remember, you had in your reaction, you got a little taste at this point. You've got a little taste of good old Giancarlo Esposito as Lex Luthor. I think that's what she's alluding to. We haven't really explored it yet, but the idea is this. I think if she's talking about what I think she is, it's that Lex is really, it's this absurdity that the Legion of Doom, very on-the-nose evil, or Doom is in their name, very evil organization, is making press conferences and like they care about running evil as a company. Where, again, only in this show can that exist. Because, again, the real world, like, you know, if we played this straight, it would never fly. Why would the Legion of Doom not be shut down by any lawful entity?
Right,
you know,
exactly. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's that Lexi seems like a nice guy in the publicity. Why do we care about the C word? Again, that's because Lex Luthor is a nice guy versus like the villain that he traditionally is. I think that's what they're alluding to there.
Yeah. No, okay. I get what that means. Let me see here. Let's see. I'm just looking through the comments and stuff. I also want to point out, in episode 4, they ripped me off with... No, show you. No, I just saw my sticky.
Again, you got to batten down the hatches for season 2, Josh.
Dude, okay, so episode 4, Harley and Robin sitting in a tree. Nemissis is what was shown on screen during a Tawny episode.
Yeah.
And, Harley and Joker sitting in a tree. Killing. Very iconic. Very iconic. Just saying.
We're gonna need Fraser Crane with all these therapy pills. I tell you.
I'm listening.
And Austin can be your Austin can be your Ross Doyle.
Dude, Austin is my Ross Doyle. She has Ross's voice.
I know.
She's got that deep voice.
I'm just gonna say it here because while I'm on just goes for a mere moment. I want to say again, Tiki and I were so delighted by the fact that Austin Boyce is in one of our all-time favorite shows. She is in Better Call Saul.
We just talked about that today. Somebody who was a fan of Just Giggle, it came on the stereo chat and was quoting the show, Harley Quinn, the Joker vs. the Real World. And I was like, oh, remember that time, Austin? Somebody came on and was like, oh my God, Austin, you're on Blackish. Like, because she comes out in an episode. But then also we started talking about her other great shows, and we mentioned Better Call Saul, which is awesome. Dude, she's so talented.
And she's in a really good scene, too.
I need to check. I haven't caught up to where she's at, so I need to watch it. I need to. I love me some Austin Boyce, and I love me some Breaking Bad universe. So, what is it, Albuquerque verse?
Yeah, we call it the Albuquerque verse, the ABQ verse, if you will.
ABQ verse. So anyway, no one can rip off this podcast. It's one of a kind. Hey, I appreciate you guys.
Put down on bumper stickers, sir. I like that.
That's it, baby. That's it. It's one of a kind. I love it. You got the real Joker here talking with the real Joker fans, you know what I'm saying? So, okay, let's move into our final thoughts here on this episode, Dragon, because this is a jam-packed episode. I'll give my final thoughts. Clayface loses his sentient arm in a heist gone wrong. I love the monologue, even though I thought it was kind of a ripoff of the Danny Boy monologue, but it's like, there's a reason why I thought that was funny, and so when I saw it here, loved it. Loved Jim's just character breakdown and getting to explore him a little bit and this relationship he develops. Oh, the line that he killed me with, I wrote it down. I wrote several notes on this.
I know what the line is. Go tell.
No. You don't even know what line I'm talking about.
I think I do. Okay, go on.
So it's where Jim is interrogating the Hand, and he's like, sorry, we don't need to be talking about that. And he's like, maybe it should be what we're talking about, Jim. And then Jim Gordon's like, my God, you're right.
See, that's why Maloney's great, right there. Because again, I just love it. You never think looking at the SVU guy, he could do that. He could be that funny, right?
It was perfect. Just like maybe it should be what we're talking about, Jim.
Okay, so Tom Kenny does
My
the voice
God.
of the clay arm. Okay, Tom,
Oh,
the voice
really?
of SpongeBob. Yes.
Wow, I did
So
not
Tom
know that.
Kenny
Amazing.
is brilliant. He's been Plastic Man, the DC. He's been all over the place. And Tom Kenny is wonderful. And again, but I think the funniest clay arm line is, Jim, you can't let him take me. I'm evidence. Oh no, you're much more than
Oh
evidence.
yeah, that was a great line. Okay, that was a good line. Yes, you're much more than evidence. It was great, but go back. I promise you, Dragon. Just isolate the line. My God, you're right, and listen to that delivery and
Oh,
the
you don't
way
need
they
that. I
zoom in
remember
on
it.
his face.
I got
it was. I was like, oh my God, this is great. Just because I was writing a few notes on this one, another ripoff of mine is Harley saying, do we have to be war criminals? Yes, he killed someone, Howie, in war, in the 70s. Ripping me off. War crime is not the same as crime, guys. We don't need to be combining the two. King Shark killed it. I want a full episode of King Shark in prison right now. I laughed out loud at Jolly Green Whore. And
Okay, there's something really funny I should tell you about that.
okay.
I remember you had a question about this whole thing. Well, by now you know the answer. But the point being, another Wonder Woman villain, Giganta, and you have Dr. Psycho. So, I love the shortest Wonder Woman villain, the tallest Wonder Woman villain. They've had, they have like a marriage or relationship. They have a kid, Herman. And of course, you wonder what is it? The Sharon Osbourne looking one on the couch was, and it was Herman.
Oh no, he looked like Kelly Osbourne.
Kelly, sorry.
I'm just joking. That's the girl. I don't remember what the kid boy was named, but yeah.
Good. Anyway, but yeah, it's the.
I just drastically insulted Kelly Osbourne. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going. Sorry, Osbourne.
But yeah, the Herman thing.
Psycho's kid. Yeah, that was a great
Psycho's
scene. I
pretty
loved
funny.
it. Yeah. Yeah, and especially even being like anonymous, right? Like being that person on the web series. And even establishing, that's another establishment we get in this show. Does that come back? The anonymous character of Psycho's son giving news?
Not particularly. I'm pretty sure.
So it served its purpose. They wrapped it up. Okay, yeah, I get it.
Wrapped up. I think it was a nice kind of father-son kind of I hate you scene, but yeah, so.
Yeah, I feel like they could have used that as like an ongoing. Like I don't know what they cut to like give the updates or whatever, but that was a good update.
It was a nice, like Ivy saying, "Let him have this."
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was great, dude. And I loved Psycho and Ivy's relationship in this episode. That really was a further evolution of the Ivy character that I appreciated. Jeffy John says, I gotta say Wonder Woman's best enemy is Cheetah. I've never even seen any Wonder Woman enemies. So
well, the next Wonder Woman movie is gonna have Cheetah in it. So
right. Ugh. But it's played by freaking Kristen, or no, I'm sorry. Who is it from SNL?
Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig. Yeah. Oh my God, that's crazy. I mean, I'm not against comedians being serious, but I need to see it.
Trust me, Josh. It looks. I've been waiting for this Wonder Woman movie coming out. Is the one? See, here's the thing. Whenever we do Wonder Woman, we always do the same thing. We always do the origin. I'm sick of seeing the origin. Nothing against the first. The first one was great. That's what I'm saying. They did it on live action for a change. That's cool. But what I'm saying is, I've always want to see Wonder Woman. Like when we talk about Superman or Batman or the other ones, you know their city, you know what their deal is. You've seen them in action, fighting bad guys. It's always like Wonder Woman getting off the island for the first time. We're finally going to do like the Wonder Woman TV series where she's going to be in a city that we can probably name this time, and she's going to be fighting bad guys. That's all I like. There's a scene they've teased up with her in a mall fighting bad guys. That's all I want. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I enjoyed the Wonder Woman movie. I was just like, but it wasn't anything like I need more and I need Cheetah. Yep. So we'll see. I'm excited, but not. I'll see it, is what I'm saying, but I'm not like over the moon. But you're pimping me on it. Let's go. Let's see here. So why don't you give me your overall thoughts on this episode, my friend?
Overall thoughts again. The episode, again, I love everything about this episode. The theme of the episode is the importance of friendship and you treating your friends right, which I love how it parallels between Harley and Batman unexpectedly, which is quite wonderful. You know, she ends up like we have this.
Oh, right, like we're actually quite similar. You and I, Batman, we're nothing alike. Like that was great.
We both look good in spandex. This is like a Kevlar survival suit, or like some sort of like take on the Batman Begins like Kevlar thing. Anyway, so I love like Harley earlier. She pulls this like Fast and Furious 7 heist gone wrong. Where she basically she tries to steal the most pointless heist ever. She steals an invisible motorcycle from Wayne Enterprises to get the Legion of Doom's attention. Several flaws in that plan. Like you're gonna get their attention with an invisible motorcycle, and of course it leaves a man, or more accurately, a man's arm behind. So so the point being, Harley needs to learn to treat her friends better, like never leave a man behind, that sort of thing. And Batman as well. I love that within the Batman Gordon stuff. It was again this. I respect there was a nugget of truth in there where Gordon lost a little bit of Batman's respect, and at times in the comics we've had some nice moments there where it's. Sometimes they really want to keep the professional and the personal lives separate. Like Gordon's all about that as a character. He's all about there is my personal life because I want to protect my personal life, my daughter, and everything. I want to keep it separate from all the horrors I see out in the world. Of course, when Killing Joke comes into the fray, that's like a terrible car crash.
Yeah, totally.
And so Batman's we're seeing that from Batman's side. He's lost respect for Gordon, hence the whole "you're a damn good cop" Jim Gordon thing. It's that whole thing where you used to be that Gordon, no longer that. Hence. Signal privileges revoked, and he earns it.
You know what? You used to be Ben McKenzie.
Yep. Besides the whole episode, it's gold with the montage. Again, the whole lesson of friendship. Clay Arm is priceless, and of course, King Shark in prison. How can you be such a nice, kind-hearted character? Then, of course, he's it's like J.K. Simmons and Oz. All of a sudden, it's wonderful.
Yeah. What did I tell y'all about using that word? It was great, man.
All of you. What again? Oh, by the way, remember how fast he was taken down in the GCPD plans? There's gosh, every time, you always see the GCPD taken as like the incompetence or the corruption or just like they're trying their best, but they're never going to get the exception of Gordon. They're never going to get the job. Gordon and Montoya, they're never going to get the job done. And then ultimately, it's like we've just for once. Oh my god, the GCP really got again. We're like we're parallel and relatable. They took them down, man, scarily.
So I just go in there and I start a distraction. So good, man.
Trust me, the King Shark stuff to come is going to get even better.
I cannot
even in
wait.
this season.
Dude, guys, thank you all so much for joining us on this You're a Damn Good Cop Jim Gordon, episodes 1 through 6 of Harley Quinn animated series, episodes 1 through 6, which is Harley Quinn, the animated series, season 1, part 1 on Just Giggle It. Before we end this little cookie here, we got Jeffy John saying, what are your best women pickup lines? And I'm going to tell you a little fun story, Jeffy John and anybody else, including you, Blue Dragon 5. There is sketch characters that never came out because they were only performed live back in the day, called the Douglas Brothers. And essentially, the Douglas Brothers were my Night at the Roxbury guys. They were my sex-crazed guys who would go out and they were all about that. So I saw that question, I pulled up one of the old scripts because I would write original pickup lines, and so I'll read a couple to you. Here we go. These are the Douglas Brothers. If you were a book, I would get caught up all night inside of you. You're so banging, I have to make up a word for your hotness. Sexy-umtastic. You're so smoking, if I had asthma, I wouldn't be able to have sex with you due to the asthma. I don't have asthma. Those were a few of those, and yeah. Hopefully one day the Douglas Brothers will make the light of day, but I wanted to share that with you, Jeffy John, because I don't want to just name stereotypical pickup lines. Gotta say my originals. Dragon, how are you, buddy? Thank you so much for this. Thank Tiki whenever you talk to him. Appreciate you guys coming on here. We need to wrap up the rest of the season. Overall, what are your thoughts on the first half of season 1?
Again, the first half, again, very, very strong. I mean, again, honestly, I don't like looking at it just kind of in halves because you really got to look at it as the whole thing. But look, just for the purposes of our discussion here, I'll say 5's a bit of a weak point, but again, it picks up tremendously with 6, no question. Again, 5 cuts the mustard, it's not the whole sandwich. It's again, first half very promising, sets the tone for the show. It's again, it sells you on the characters. Basically, it builds the cast, and then we're going to do things with the cast in the second half. I guess you want to look at it in kind of that sense with kind of the grand plotting of everything.
Oh, I definitely agree. I feel like the table's been set very well, that we have like the whole crew assembled. Even in this episode, like, oh, we're all fine. Oh, wait, King Shark, let's go get him real quick. So, like, and they do that last scene. So now we're like, all right, off to the races. I'm excited for what's to come. We got 7 episodes left in the season. We got a full-fledged second season ready to dissect. So we're going to get to all that. Who knows how they're going to drop season 3 and when, and how we'll cover that. But it's been a fun ride to be on. I'm so happy the fans are like incessantly telling me to cover this, and I'm thankful for you guys, especially you, Blue Dragon. I know you're a huge fan of Batman, not only the animated series, but the comics. So you're kind of my shaman, like I mentioned at the top, of like all the Easter eggs that I missed. I appreciate all of that, man. Really, truly do. So if you guys have any final questions for you and I, Blue Dragon, or myself, get them in, Jeffy John or Toy Gaming Girl, because you guys are the big commenters, although we have several people watching. Thank you all for being here. Any final words from you and plugs, Blue Dragon?
Well, yeah, sure. Okay. Well, first, let me say this again. This has been. I'm not joking. I'm not talking up and not blowing the smoke here. It's just. It's that This has been one of the greatest pleasures, man. My week. It's been a little iffy. I'll say that much. But I tell you, man. I echo Jeffy John's sentiment here. This podcast made my day, and it has. And seriously, just being on Just Giggle It with you, and after all the entertainment you provided us, and us talking incessantly about Just Giggle It. It feels nice to be here, not just be here, just talk about, kind of Batman by proxy of the Harley Quinn animated series, and just kind of just talking, man. It's always, we always kind of direct stuff at you on the beat by beat recaps and everything, and that's all fun. I always like to play the audience and play to you metaphorically. But it's nice talking to you. It's quite refreshing. It's quite. I don't know, it's something really special about this. It felt really nice, and I'm so honored to be here. Truly, it's been a great pleasure. It's like one of the high marks is being here. We've been on the Geekvolution this year. But this is amazing.
Dude, I thank you so much, man. I mean, again, I want to make sure everybody knows every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So You Want to Be an Imagineer, the channel Blue Dragon and Tiki are a part of. They do the Just Giggle It grab bag and have recapped almost all of our sketches. They're on JGI at Home episode 4, almost done with that, and are waiting on our new sketches that are yet to come out. And I can't appreciate you guys more than I have, man. You guys have done such a great job at dissecting it. I've listened to some podcasts of you guys, and I'll be honest, sometimes you guys are right on the fucking money of what I'm going for, and it's eerie to me. So I appreciate that and commend you guys for just being students of the game, because that's what I am, and I appreciate you guys. Just when I put stuff out there, there's nothing more fulfilling than to see people getting what you're going for. So that's what I'll say to my appreciation of you and what you guys do. So we're going to be back, though, with the second half of this season. So the party's not over. Thank you, everyone who joined. Thank you to Tiki. Go make sure you're subscribed to So You Want to Be an Imagineer. Blue Dragon 5, I can't thank you enough, my friend. But you need to download Stereo so you can chime in on those chats, bro.
Yes, just the minute I get a smartphone, I will. Trust me.
Dude, get us. I know. I'm hoping that they release it just online, too.
If they did online, I would, believe me, if I could, I would be there.
Totally. But yeah, so it's a fun times on there. We've had some great chats, but either way, it's a pleasure to talk to you, my friend. I always appreciate all the Easter eggs you give me about Batman and about even my own show, like pointing things out sometimes where I'm in line with something that happened in the series that I didn't even know about. And you
never have I seen someone so in line with Paul Dini. And seriously, the greatest comment I can give to the Harley Quinn and Joker series.
Dude, I appreciate that so much, man. And all that comes from me being more occupied with being true to the character than being funny. Like even today on going back to Stereo, I was talking with Austin. We did a bit where she was pretending to host a radio show and have call-ins, and I was playing every character. And sometimes the characters I was playing, it wasn't even funny, but I was just invested in it and talking to her and having a conversation, living in it. And I use that mentality whenever I'm writing the Joker. And I'll truly say this to you, man. I don't know if I've ever spoken this aloud on these streams, but when I write my show, when I'm writing the Joker, something takes over. And I don't know whatever you want to call that being.
That's an 80-year-old character right there. He's a classic.
I mean, I'm living in it, and that character takes over sometimes, and I appreciate that. Damn right, bro. So thank you so much for being a part of this, everybody. Mostly to you, my friend, and we'll be back covering the second half of season 1 of Harley Quinn the animated series. Till next time, I'm Joshua Thomas. Thank you for being here on Just Giggle It. Thank you for being a subscriber, watching Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the Real World, and watch the Just Giggle It grab bag every Tuesday on So You Want to Be an Imagineer. We'll see you next time.
Hell yeah.
Frankie Muniz! I couldn't help it, motherfucker.